Chapter 81, Life-Threatening Training. Izuku returned to the room after taking a shower, putting on his bathrobe and wiping his hair with a towel. My hair is really a bit long. But there's no place to cut it now, so let's just go for a run and change into something smart. As expected, you still can't escape this fate of running? I want to sleep, I miss my bed. Don't think about it this month, training every day will make us exhausted. It's better to sleep a little longer now. Stop being pretentious and hurry up. Izuku changed his clothes, put a Glock on his waist, tightened the laces on his shoes, and opened the door. Xiaosheng, why are you standing at the door? As soon as Izuku opened the door, he saw his little tame. Nasty guy. Don't say that. Would you like to come in and sit down for a while? Izuku said tremblingly. Who would want to enter your room? I'm just passing by. I just want to go in, though. Then I'll be relieved. Xiaosheng is still the same. Izuku walked out of the room, closed the door, walked around Bakugu and walked downstairs. The moment he walked around Bakugu, Izuku's body trembled violently, and Bakugu noticed this tremor. The main body was very strange just now. Natural reaction, natural reaction. After being beaten for so many years, I still have such a natural reaction. The natural reaction is indeed very strange. Okay, now the goal is to run 20 kilometers. We don't know the road conditions here at all, how can we calculate that we have run 20 kilometers? I brought this. Izuku took out a square object from his pocket. Pedometer. It's a mileage counter. With this thing, you don't have to think about how many miles you have run. I have already set the number of steps for 40 kilometers, so let's get started. Izuku started running around the rest area. 30 minutes later, Izuku's mileage counter started beeping. 40 kilometers are here so soon? It feels like you haven't run very long. Izuku took out the mileage counter in his pocket, and it was clearly filled with 40 kilometers. Is my speed getting faster? Is this thing broken? Izuku patted the mileage counter. After confirming that no machine was broken, Izuku walked back to his room and started doing 10 sets of push-ups every day. When you're done with both hands, do one hand, and when you're done with one hand, do your fingers. Izuku said while doing push-ups. Original body, I'm so tired. Can you take a break? No. Exercise is the key to becoming stronger. If we finish practicing our fingers, we can go to bed. Handstand push-ups. You are the devil. The new idea I came up with is pretty good. Not bad, what's good? If you want to be exhausted, I'll just say so. At 2 o'clock in the morning, Izuku finally lay in bed. Finally I can sleep. Good night. At 5:30 in the morning, Izuku woke up to the sound of teacher Aizawa shouting. As soon as he woke up, Izuku quickly changed into his clothes and rushed downstairs at inhuman speed. Good morning Mr. Aizawa. Izuku greeted Mr. Aizawa seriously. Now that he couldn't beat Mr. Aizawa, it was better to train honestly. Good morning, I didn't expect you to be the first one to come down. Isn't everyone down yet? It seems you were the first one to come down. So what's today's training? Keywords, enhancement and hell. In other words, is this training session in the forest comparable to hell? Izuku put his right hand on his chin and thought. What, are you scared? How can you be a hero if you are afraid? But hell! The collapsing city flashed through Izuku's mind, and blood quietly appeared in Izuku's eyes, and then disappeared quietly. Don't disappoint me, Izuku said softly. At 5:35 in the morning, everyone came down and today's training officially began. Izuku was taken away by Tora from the Pusakat Quartet for amplification training. What the amplified personality needs is to temper and control oneself, and to tear oneself to the limit. Now let me see what kind of extreme performance you can achieve. Click it. Izuku dislocated his left arm again. Is this okay? That's not what I'm talking about. Send it back to me quickly. Oh. Kala. The left arm is back to normal, but it hurts a little. Punch me now with all your strength. Is it possible? Can I really use my full strength? Izuku's right hand lit up with a huge green light, which was the sign of 100%, and a super strong sense of oppression came from Izuku's body. If I punch you, you might fly away. Do you really have to use all your strength? No need. Tiger said, waving his two gloves. Izuku lost his personality and looked at Tora. Then what should I do? Continuously using your own personality and pushing your limits. Limit. Izuku thought of the scene when he lay on the ground unable to move after running 20 kilometers for the first time. Oh, so you have to develop your own limit. Izuku nodded, with a faint light green arc on his hands. 5%, that should be fine. Limit, the limit I should break through now is the limit of endurance. I can only last for 4 hours with 5% of my strength, so I have to last at least 8 hours. The key is how to persist. I can't just stand here for 8 hours. Just pound the ground, or dig a hole with your fists. That's it. Izuku raised his two fists and started pounding the floor. Boom boom. The sound Izuku made was no worse than that of other people who were undergoing hellish training. Keep going. Keep going. Izuku's fists began to turn red and purple. Half an hour later, a large hole more than 1 meter wide and 2 meters deep appeared. An hour later, Izuku's fists began to bleed. It's not the limit yet. Izuku's training speed did not keep up with the speed of his adrenaline secretion. After another hour, Izuku wiped the sweat from his face with the back of his hand and continued to hammer the ground with his fists. His hands still maintained a 5% green arc. 6 hours later, Izuku finally climbed out of the pit he dug. His face and hands were bleeding. Those who didn't know would think he had gone to fight again. 5%, 8 hours, done. Ahem. Izuku climbed out of the pit with difficulty. His hands were already covered with red flesh. This is enough. Only with more powerful strength can I become a hero. Izuku's mind is now trying to become stronger. Ah! Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Izuku raised his fist and hammered the ground again, but at the moment he was about to hammer the ground, his neck suddenly hurt, and then he fainted. Tisk! This kid is really going crazy. His mental state is really wrong. Izuwa Shota scratched his neck as he looked at Izuku lying on the ground with blood on his hands and face. If Mandalay Cat hadn't informed me, you might have died here today. You're annoying. Teacher Izuwa. Izuku suddenly raised his head and propped himself up with his bleeding hands. Since the training is over, I'll go back. Izuku twisted his neck with his right hand, and blood flowed from his neck into his white shirt. He twisted his neck and walked out of the training forest. Teacher Izuwa looked at his palm, wondering if his strength had decreased. My body is so troublesome. I was knocked unconscious by Teacher Izuwa. Now I have to go back and apply medicine myself. I hope there are medicines I can use in the health room. I'm so sleepy. As soon as I walked out of the forest, I saw other students walking back to the training site with a look of despair on their faces. Wow! I'm done. I'm definitely going to be seen by others in my current state. What should I do? What should I do? Izuku was a little embarrassed now. His face was covered in blood. If others found out, they would definitely ask him questions. I can't waste time. I can't be found by others. Izuku thought so and walked around the other students who were walking towards the training location, trying to enter the training dormitory through the back door. Chapter 82, Healing. Tisk, training is finally over. Damn, I'm really tired. Bakugo's arms were trembling. Phew, I'm so tired. I didn't expect that my training would involve stewing myself in an iron pot. Hong Xiaodong somewhat admired the teacher who came up with this idea. But where is that guy Fiju? Where is Izuku? They both turned their heads at the same time and saw Izuku's distinctive white shirt. What does this loser want to do? What is he going to do, Izuku? The two bad boys who didn't know what they wanted to do followed Izuku to the back door of the dormitory. Izuku kicked the back door. Wu Tai opened the back door cautiously. How did you come in here, and why is your face covered in blood? Wu Tai looked at the brother in front of him in surprise. I got injured during training. Thank you for opening the door for me. Izuku smiled at Kauta. By the way, there should be no one at the health room. No, does it not matter if you are like this? Wu Tai seemed to be frightened when he saw Izuku's bleeding hands, and took a few steps back. As a man, it would be better if there is no one in the health room. I may need to use a lot of medicine. Izuku smiled and wanted to touch Yuta's hat, but finally gave up the idea. The blood on the knuckles fell to the ground, and soon two small pools of blood formed. Izuku smiled and walked into the back door of the dormitory. By the way, I have to ask you to help wipe away the blood on the road. Izuku said, walked directly into the health room, and took 2 or 3 bottles of disinfectant, some medicines and 2 rolls of bandages from the medicine cabinet. When I walked into the bathroom, my hands started to hurt more and more. Was it really too much training? Izuku pouted and walked into the bathroom, unaware of the 2 bad boys behind him. Damn it, how did that guy Fiju bleed so much blood? Did Izuku-kun fight the enemy without us knowing? Izuku poured several bottles of disinfectant into a basin in the bathroom, then swallowed and put his still bleeding hands into the basin. Hiss! It hurts! Izuku screamed out in pain. Although this method is the most effective, it is also very painful. Holding back the pain, Izuku rubbed his hands in the disinfectant. It hurts, it hurts! Izuku couldn't help shouting. A durian and a lychee suddenly appeared at the bathroom door behind him. It should be fine now, but it still hurts. I still need to wash for another 30 seconds. Izuku squinted his eyes and counted down, while rubbing his wound vigorously, and the blood directly disinfected the colorless. The water was dyed red. Phew! It's finally done. After Izuku counted 30 seconds, his hand could finally come out. His hand was still shaking slightly because of the pain. Izuku secretly cursed himself for not living up to expectations. He was obviously so crazy during training, but now it hurts. No, no, no. I'm really weak. Izuku said, and began to apply medicine to himself. His trembling hands were unable to apply medicine to himself. Haiku, do you fucking know how to use ointment? Bakugo couldn't stand it anymore. If you don't know how to do it, don't do it. He walked up to Izuku, took the ointment from Izuku's hand and gave it to him. Take medicine for a long time. I'm talking about trash. How the hell did you do it? It was just a training exercise, and you actually made yourself so miserable. I'm going to pour the disinfectant. Hong Xiaodong came over at some point and poured the disinfectant in the basin into the sink. Kakin. Todoroki-kun. Why are you here? Izuku is still a little confused. How many of you two came to my place to help me give me medicine instead of eating curry happily with other people? Mean? I really want to go back to sleep now, you two are so annoying. I'm here to see if you, the good-for-nothing, are lazy. I came to see you on the way. Todoroki put the basin aside and imitated Bakugo and squatted next to Izuku. Let me help you apply the medicine, too. I don't need your help, you damn yin-yang face. Izuku couldn't help but smile when he saw Xiaosheng and Todoroki quarreling again in front of him. The 2 lights in his heart actually quarreled in front of him. My body, you really know how to play. But I'm super sleepy now. After taking the medicine, I really have to go back to sleep. I'm so sleepy. Izuku yawned. He watched Xiaosheng wrap his hands in bandages and patted his still aching right hand. Thank you, Xiaosheng. Izuku lowered his head and thanked Xiaosheng. Trash, you still want to keep up with me? You'd better learn the bandaging technique first. Bakugo stood up and pulled Izuku up with one hand. Izuku, can you still leave? Todoroki also held one of Izuku's hands. I don't want to let go. Man, it's okay. I can go back by myself. You go and eat. Izuku waved his hand and wanted the 2 of them to go eat with other classmates. Trash is trash. You are as weak as a chicken now. How can you go back on your own? Izuku, let me take you back to your room. Yunyang face, get the fuck out of here. Izuku couldn't help but feel guilty as he looked at the 2 people holding his hands and planning to fight. Can I not keep my hands anymore? Or do these 2 people want to take each of them to smash again? I really want to sleep now, can you guys be quiet? If you want to fight, go outside and fight. Veins popped out on Izuku's face that others couldn't see. Well, I can go back by myself, you don't have to do this. Izuku said, trying to pull his hands out of the hands of the 2 people who didn't know what they were thinking. Izuku, I think it's necessary to take you back to the room. Yin-yang face, I'll take Fiju back to the room, it's none of your business. Let go of your hands, don't stand here blocking the door, okay? I want to go back to sleep. What does it mean to hold on tighter and tighter? Why don't you 3 go back together? Don't you know that you are blocking the road if you stand here? Koda was holding a mop and looking at the 3 of them. You're blocking my cleaning, why don't you get out now? Thank this little friend. Izuku walked out of the bathroom without a second thought, and the two guys holding his hands were dragged away by him. Tisk. When did Fiju's hand strength become so strong? Izuku's strength is very strong, so amazing. Izuku glanced at the two people behind him. How long will these two guys hold my hand and follow me? Are they really going to enter my room? Although it's no big deal for a boy to enter a boy's room, these two guys might fight in the room. And that book, according to Xia Sheng's personality, he will definitely open it and read it. Maybe he will even blow up the book, so I still have to keep them out of the door. Izuku continued to struggle and tried to pull his hands out, but it got tighter and tighter. Are you two suffering from deep well disease? I can't even open the door with you like this. Are you trying to help me open the door? Wait. You are not going to come up with this idea. Bakugo and Hungjun looked at each other, and the two bad boys rarely reached a consensus. The three of them stood in front of Izuku's door. You can't get in without the key, let's see if you can let go. I always put my key in my pants pocket, check it. I was slapped in the face by myself, and now I'm super unhappy. Chapter 83, Two Annoying Guys. Bakugo and Todoroki finally broke into Izuku's room. As soon as he entered the room, Izuku broke free from the two people's tightly grasped hands, and then took the book on the desk into the bathroom. After locking the door, Izuku sat directly on the toilet. It's so annoying, why did they follow in? I don't know what they are thinking, otherwise I would have smashed them one by one and then thrown them out, but wouldn't that be too inconsistent with the original character's setting? It's so annoying, so annoying, so annoying. Izuku scratched his head quickly with both hands. In fact, he was also very afraid of Bakugo, just like his original body. What should I do, what should I do? Although Izuku's voice was very small, it was still heard by the two people in the room. Izuku, what's wrong with you? Todoroki asked standing at the door of the bathroom. It's okay, Todoroki-kun, I'm fine. Izuku stopped scratching his head and sighed. The current situation can only be seen one step at a time. He opened the bathroom door and took the book that he didn't want the two to see. I just went to the bathroom for a while. Izuku said to the two of them while holding a book. He was afraid that they would find out that something was wrong with him. Tisk, a guy who screams when he goes to the bathroom, a waste is a waste. Bakugo directly occupied Izuku's bed and put one foot directly on the whole bed. Well, Xiao Sheng has always been very good. Izuku looked at his bed and chair occupied by these two guys and could only sigh slightly, then sat on the ground and continued to read. For a while, only the sound of Izuku turning the pages of the book could be heard. 10 minutes later, Izuku's stomach made a gurgling sound. He was hungry, but it didn't matter. But now looking at the eyes of these two people, why do they feel like they want to eat him now? Isn't the original body afraid usually? I feel quite panicked now, what should I do? Is it okay for me to ignore them looking at me like this? I really want to sleep now. Can you two go out? Izuku sighed in his heart, then closed the book, stood up, walked around Hungjun, took an energy bar and walked to the balcony. Now I can only slack off, I can only ignore them, as long as they don't bully me, everything doesn't matter, I still have to go to training tomorrow, right? The current situation is to ignore it, right? Izuku raised his head and ate the unpalatable energy bar while looking at the sky. The stars at night are very bright. It seems that I haven't looked up at the sky for a long time. My main body has been chasing that little kid, and it seems that I haven't seen the shining sky above my head. Izuku was about to take another look at the starry sky in the sky, and his hair was violently pulled away. Waste, go downstairs to eat. Durian head, don't pull Izuku's hair. Izuku didn't want to care anymore. The energy bar was thrown on the ground. Izuku looked helpless and was carried downstairs by Bakugo and Todoroki's shoulders. I don't want to eat with you. Put me down. I just want to sleep well now. After dinner, you waste, fight with me. Why should I fight with you? I really want to sleep now. Izuku almost cried while eating today's dinner. Can I say MMP? This is the most frustrating dinner I have ever eaten. Izuku ate a few bites of dinner and his hand began to hurt again. You have done evil, and now it's my turn to suffer. My hand hurts so much now, and I have to fight with Xiao Sheng later. Is it too late for me to pretend to faint now? Hey? That kid, why is he up there? Izuku put down the bowl in his hand, turned around and was about to find an excuse to run away, when he saw the figure of the child who helped him wipe the blood sitting on the mountain behind them. He shouldn't have eaten dinner, I'll go give him a bowl of curry rice. Escape from Xiaosheng's clutches by the way. Nice. Izuku got a bowl of curry rice and ran up the mountain. Just let him finish his meal and chat with him for a while, it should be fine. Izuku thought as he ran up the mountain with the curry rice. Koda was sitting there at this time, looking at the lively crowd at the foot of the mountain with disdain, and his stomach began to growl. You look hungry, do you want to eat some curry rice? Just when Koda was considering waiting for them to finish eating, a familiar voice sounded. It was the big brother with bleeding hands, who was also the annoying hero reserve. No need. What are you doing here? This is my secret base. Get out of here. This little brat really can't talk. Training to enhance quiz. It's really disgusting. Do you want to show off your strength so much? No, I just want to bring you food. Everyone's brain is abnormal. They are all like fools, heroes and enemies, fighting and killing all day long, talking about quiz blindly will only show off their strength. That's why they are like that, bastard. Koda's voice trembled a little. Izuku lowered his head. His original body did not have any quirks to speak of before. It had been 14 years, and only now did he have a quirks and a killer move to save his life. Existence was reasonable. Since quirks appeared in this society, it meant that this world needed quirks. The special nature of his original body should be regarded as God's omission. His original body without quirks was endowed with an optimistic nature, a character that worked to the extreme, and a heart that loved to pursue dreams. Except for the annoying childhood friend, the rest are basically treated as protagonists. However, the main body is too worrying. I am probably the first person to worry about the main body's personality. Izuku scratched his head and said. Everyone has different views on personality, and it cannot be generalized. Since there are enemies who want to destroy social order like crazy, there will be heroes who fight against enemies to maintain social order. Existence is reasonable. If you deny it completely, your life will be too miserable. Okay, I'll put the curry rice here for you. Eat it if you are hungry. Izuku put down the curry rice and turned away. Tisk. Koda felt a little uncomfortable watching Izuku walk away. Hey! Why am I crying again? Izuku suddenly felt a wetness on his face when he walked back, and his tear glands began to act up unconsciously again. Next time, just let the main body cut off its tear glands. Heroes can't cry casually. Izuku wiped his tears behind him and walked back to the foot of the mountain. In the end, Bakugo didn't pick a fight with Izuku, so he really had to thank that kid. Izuku finally sat on a chair, cleaning his 2 guns, which were both given to him by his sister. And now he has a gun license, so cleaning a gun shouldn't be against the law. Chapter 84, Test of Courage. Izuku's original body didn't wake up until 3 o'clock the next morning. When he woke up, he found himself wiping the Glock in his hand. You finally woke up, but I'm exhausted. I can't do it anymore. I need to rest. Don't call me if it's not important. Sleep well, my other self. Thank you for your hard work. Izuku blinked again, and his original body took control. He put down the Glock in his hand, stood up and looked out the window. Although it was still dark outside, there was already a little light. It's the 3rd day of the forest training camp. I still hope that nothing will happen today. Izuku stood on the balcony and stretched. He didn't run today. It felt that running here was basically a waste of time. Okay, my other self, let you sleep a little more today. I'll sort out my things. Izuku took off the iron block on his body and began to relax his body. Did you practice too much yesterday? Looking at the bandage on his hand, Izuku decided to practice his legs today, just like yesterday, and he would not stop until his legs were broken. Then you will need someone to take care of you tomorrow, and you will trouble others. What is the first principle? Don't trouble others, I know. Izuku temporarily gave up the idea of self-harm. Then continue reading. I haven't finished reading Grandpa's book yet. Wait, where is my book? After searching for a long time, I couldn't find Grandpa's book, but I found a few pieces of torn paper. I would never tear up a book, and only 2 people have entered my room since yesterday. The case has been solved. It was Xiao Sheng or Hung Jun, or the 2 of them tore up my book together. Well, I don't want the book back now. Hiss, I really can't let these two guys enter the room in the future. What if they tear up my All Might figurines like books? Izuku immediately thought of his room full of All Might figurines. As long as one of them is destroyed, Izuku will feel distressed. Forget it, the book was torn, so it was torn. Even if they read it, they might not understand it. Izuku spread his hands, turned around and went into the bathroom to wash his face. On the other side, Bakugo was flipping through half of the book. Izuku was right. It was Bakugo and Todoroki who tore his book. Now they each had half of the book in their hands, and Bakugo was holding the upper half. Tisk, only Fiju can understand this kind of thing. He actually didn't sleep all night, looking at the annoying formulas and calculation data in the book, as well as Fiju's handwriting that was as useless as him. What blue potion, it's so annoying, it turns out that a waste is a waste. Bakugo threw the book on his desk, then covered himself with a quilt and went to sleep. It looks like that red potion is a very dangerous thing. Izuku must not drink that kind of thing. Todoroki put the lower half of the book next to his pillow with a serious face. Well. On the morning of the third day, the air here is really comfortable, but we still have to train. Izuku walked out of the room and came to the dormitory for the training camp. He breathed in the fresh air and did a few stretching exercises. Then, Izuku began his special training. He pulled out the tactical knife on his waist and scratched a thick tree. After a while, a clear human figure was scratched out on the tree. Falm said that the greatest role of the knife is to tear open the opponent's defense line quickly with speed, and then cause large-scale casualties to the opponent. Izuku said this in a low voice while turning the tactical knife in his hand. I can't kill people, so the first knife I encounter when I encounter the enemy should be to break the enemy's physical defense. In other words, the first knife is like this. Izuku directly cut the chest of the human figure with a knife, and the force was very shallow. This knife should catch the enemy off guard, and then it's like this. Izuku made a roundhouse kick and directly mentioned the head of the human figure, making a loud noise. It hurts so much. Izuku held his right foot and jumped for a while. Wow! I can't kick the tree down with my own strength without quirk, it hurts so much. Izuku sat on the ground, and the tactical knife was thrown on the ground. It still hurts so much. Izuku rubbed his still painful instep, picked up the tactical knife again, and stood up. After the enemy is knocked down, they should have no ability to resist. Those guys are very powerful guys. They really can't be underestimated. The only way is to raise the enemy's target higher and higher. Alforoni is the extreme, so who is my next target? The symphony orchestra duo. Izuku thought while holding the tactical knife. Although the symphony orchestra duo has been killed by Uncle Rem, I'm still a little scared no matter how I think about it. Those two guys, whether it's personality or gun skills, are so strong, much stronger than me, the useless ninth man. Izuku unconsciously scratched on the ground with a tactical knife. After a while, a man and a woman were drawn by Izuku, not to mention that the drawing was not bad. They used very violent guns. I heard that they consumed 20,000 bullets with the police in France in one breath. The man was killed by Brother Tojo. Izuku unconsciously drew on the ground again. I heard from Brother Lutz that he couldn't do it because she was a woman, and the young lady who was still alive was killed by Uncle Rem. Izuku's hand drew faster and faster. After that battle, Brother Lutz was forced to go into the forest with me for forest training. As a result, he was beaten so badly by me that he treated me to many delicious meals. Izuku laughed softly while drawing. Then, there was the Hex incident. That woman was really powerful. Whether it was quirtity or gun ability, it was 1-to-1 strong. If I could be stronger at that time, if my gun skills were more stable, R would not die. If I could be stronger, no one would die, no one. Didn't we decide? When we become strong enough, we won't let anyone die in front of us, right? Yes, that's why we have to continue training. Today's training begins. Why the hell did I say that? I was actually tricked by the main body. Izuku's training today was a little easier than yesterday, but he was still exhausted. Teacher Izawa and others stood together to discuss countermeasures for the evening. By the way, Mr. Izawa. Izuku raised his legs high and approached Mr. Izawa and the others. Don't come close to me, but what do you want? We have been here for 3 days, why haven't we seen All Might? In order to ensure your safety, All Might will not participate in this event, and in order to keep it secret, there are only 6 of us heroes here except you. Mr. Aizawa rubbed his hair. Only 6 teachers. Izuku raised his legs high and thought about things, and suddenly the short-haired cat stood in front of the others and said loudly. Tonight we will hold a test of courage for the 2 classes to compete. Train well and have fun. The strategy of sticks and candies has always worked. Am I the only one who cares about the competition between the 2 classes? Monoma said while panting. Test of courage. I can scare that loser Aizawa. How long do I have to stew myself in the iron pot? Todoroki slapped the iron sheet of the pot, and ice chips flew everywhere. Chapter 85, Enemy Appears. At night, after everyone had dinner, the courage test meeting could finally begin. Yet. That's great. Ashido-sana couldn't wait to start playing. But before the courage test begins, everyone in the cram school must come with me. Teacher Aizawa said the words that made Ashido-sana despair like a normal person. You are the devil. Don't think about running away. Teacher Aizawa directly used the restraint cloth to take away the 5 people who were going to tutor. Be careful along the way. Izuku waved to the 4 of them and wished you a happy tutoring session. But having said that, if the 5 of them leave, then there will only be 15 people left in the class. If there are 2 teams, one person's position will be vacant. Then let's draw lots. 8 million hundreds took out a lottery bucket at some point. Sure enough, the personality of creation is very useful. It seems I have to walk that road alone. Izuku held a piece of paper and looked at the others who had formed a team, feeling a little uncomfortable. Tisk, he's actually in the same group as Yin Yang Face. Can I find someone to replace it with? It would be great if I could be paired with Izuku. Just go on your own. I haven't walked through the night like this for a long time. It's eerie and a bit familiar. What's going on with this feeling? Izuku's heart suddenly beat so fast. Okay, the next group is Wabuki and Leary. Everyone else on the road has already laid an ambush. Come on, meow. The short-haired cat said, waving the gloves on his hands. Miu-chan, let's go. Raihi swallowed and took Wabuki's hand and said. Let's go. Hehe, I hope you can have a good time. Izuku looked around. The only people left were Ida and Yamaguchi. It would be his turn next. What's going on with this feeling? What should I do if I'm excited, scared, and want to laugh? You seem to be like this only when you are fighting with the enemy in the mountains and forests, and when you are fighting against a strong man like Falm, we will be so excited. We are mountain soldiers. The other person I am is also very excited now. Mountain soldiers have always been good players in the mountains and forests. In other words, the person who interests me is here? Or an enemy? Don't you need to be on guard? What's the point? Let's not be afraid anymore, okay? Wait a moment. That child. Gyutai. Izuku immediately turned around and ran towards Yutei's secret base without looking back. That's right. If the enemy comes, there will definitely be more than one. That little brat. Hey! Why should we save him? That kid is obviously a stinker. No matter what, I can't let anyone die in front of me. Others are protected by teachers, no problem. It's over there at Gyutai. Izuku. Aren't you going to play anymore? You guys play first, I forgot something at the dormitory. Izuku only brought a Glock and a tactical knife. To be on the safe side, Izuku decided to bring the MK3 in the room as well. Body. When Izuku put the MK3 on his body, there was an unpleasant burnt smell in the air, and the smile on Izuku's face became more obvious. Kill, kill, kill. Izuku jumped out of the window and ran towards Yutei's secret base. Move. Izuku. Move. Jonah. Move. Move. Like that time. Izuku's footsteps became faster and faster, and he rushed up the mountain wall. At this time, Yutai was quite frightened, because an enemy appeared in front of him, the same enemy who killed his parents. Dad, Mom. Let me have fun. I saw the enemy waving his big hand with only flesh and blood fibers and punched Wutai. The giant hand did not match Wutai's small body at all. That fist could knock that little one out at any time. The body was beaten into a pulp. Careful. The huge fist hit the rocks and splashed many pieces. Yet. Izuku groaned as he hugged Yutai, and his back was hit hard. Slightly injured on the back, the enemy's personality is being analyzed. Izuku fell to the ground and quickly got up. Yutei was placed on the ground. He stood there and looked at the enemy in front of him with a serious face. Kyutai, stop crying, I will definitely save you. Izuku said with a slight smile as he turned his head slightly to look at the tearful Kyutai. Ah, I didn't expect you to come back. You are also on the list. The fibers in the enemy's hands kept beating. Let's play a game where I kill you, hehe. The enemy's personality has been analyzed. The ability to control muscle fibers can control one's own muscle fibers. It is a personality that can advance and attack, retreat and defend. It is also a powerful personality. To deal with this kind of personality you can only defeat the strong with force, defeat the force with strength, and be prepared to go crazy. Yutei, do you know the way down from the other side? Go quickly. Don't stop. Izuku raised his fists, bright green arcs of electricity burst out from his fists, and he rushed towards the enemy. 100%. Destroy the enemy as soon as possible. Ho ho, how dare you charge over here? Boom. Two fists directly hammered this difficult enemy into the mountain wall. This doesn't feel right. It's a scam. Izuku immediately put his arms in front of him, and at that moment, a giant red fist hit him in the flying dust. Boom. Cough. Izuku spat out a mouthful of red blood. Isn't this a great job? And there's blood. I like blood the most. Even 100% can't sanction him. That is the power of All Might. Izuku landed on the ground. Can we just bite the bullet and do it? That's interesting, isn't it? He, kill kill kill. You have to break through the limits. Izuku rushed forward again. Are you coming again? I'm tired of playing. The enemy directly wrapped himself into a fiber ball and threw it at Izuku. 100%. When Izuku was smashed into the ground, he used his peripheral vision to see Yutei, who was still standing there unable to move. Didn't I tell you to run away? Rebellious little brat. Mom, I'm sorry. All Might, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Xiaosheng and Todoroki-kun. Sister Cow Cow. I might die here. Izuku spurted blood while using his last strength to resist this enemy that he couldn't defeat at all. Izuku smiled, tears flowed from the corners of his eyes, and his tear glands began to act on their own again. Just when Izuku was about to be killed, the enemy suddenly felt a cold feeling, which was water. That little brat! Wait a minute and I'll kill you. Stop it! Cao Tai shouted while using his personality randomly, and Izuku felt that a gap suddenly appeared in his suppressed body. Let's use our power together. To survive. To save more people. The two personalities held the green arc together. 141000000%. Get up. At that moment, the enemy seemed to hear two voices. How is it possible? I will make you get up. Go to hell. The two powerful forces began to wrestle again, but Izuku was almost overwhelming. How could his power still be increasing? This was the enemy's last thought before falling into coma. Boom. Izuku finally smashed the enemy into him. Pooh. Can this thing even kill me? The other me will have to be left to you from now on. Hello. Izuku's body swayed, and he suddenly took out a foot to steady his body. Damn it, the main body actually fainted. Izuku said, then turned to look at Yutei who was still crying. Stop crying, we still have things to do now. Izuku's right hand was disabled, but his left hand was still intact. He used his left hand to wipe the tears on Kauta's face. You are like this now, what else must you do? Ahem, if all the enemies who come are at this level, everyone will be in danger. We must tell Mr. Aizawa about this, and we also need your personality, Izuku said, looking towards forest on fire. Hey! Why? Yutei looked at the exhausted man in front of him. Do you still want to be brave even though he's already like this? Among us, you are the only one with a water-type personality. The forest is on fire right now. If the fire spreads, we will all be trapped here, so your safety is the most important thing right now. Izuku he picked up Gyutai with his left hand. It's time to go. Izuku rushed down the mountain wall. In this case, you should be able to use your trump card. Izuku looked at his right hand while running, and his last trump card was burning hot. Chapter 86, Glock. On the other side, Mr. Aizawa had already dealt with an enemy who seemed to be the culprit who set the mountain on fire. Do you think you really caught me? Brad. Are you still resisting? Mr. Aizawa pressed the enemy's head, and suddenly, the enemy suddenly turned into black water. Tisk, he doesn't even want to tell me the information, but now there is no time, other little ghosts. Mr. Aizawa didn't think much, and stood up again and ran towards the other students. The current situation must be known to others, and I don't know where that brat Izuku ran to. Shota Aizawa thought as he ran. At this time, Izuku was holding Kota and running to the training site. Although he encountered an enemy now, there should be a teacher at the training site. As long as I hand this kid over to the teacher, I can go to help others. My clothes are already torn for the most part. The matter still needs to be notified by the Mandalay cat with telepathy. The killer is getting hot. I really want to solve those enemies now. Kill them. Kill them. Hey! It's that guy. Kota suddenly called out, and Izuku turned around and saw that it was Mr. Aizawa who was running. Mr. Aizawa! Izuku suddenly called out to Shota Aizawa. Midori! Shota Aizawa heard Midoriya's voice and turned to look at Midoriya. Looking at the current state of Midoriya Izuku, he knew that he had fought with the enemy again. Mr. Aizawa! I'll leave Kota to you. I still have a lot of things to tell that Mandalay cat. I'm leaving first. Wait. Mr. Aizawa called Izuku. From the looks of you, you've fought with the enemy again, and you told the Mandalay cat that. On the front battlefield, the Mandalay cat and Tiger of Pussy Cat were fighting fiercely with two enemies. Annoying. The Mandalay cat said as he retreated. You are the one who is annoying, right? Hurry up and clear them out. Mandalay cat dodged the enemy's slash. The enemy she faced was a guy dressed exactly like the hero killer who was imprisoned before. His weapon was two blades, one of which was a large sword made of dozens of small knives, which looked quite intimidating. Get out of here! Just as Mandalay cat was about to counterattack this enemy, a green arc of electricity kicked directly on the large sword made of small knives, instantly smashing this strange weapon to pieces. In mid-air, Izuku turned his head and looked at Mandalay cat, who was confused. Mandalay! I went to find Kota before. Kota is fine. Teacher Aizawa asked me to tell you. Let all the students enter the battle. After saying this, Izuku fell to the ground. Because he didn't stabilize his body, he rolled on the ground twice. Not only was his foot skin broken, but his body also became dirty. Tisk! Eraserhead! Are you really going to let these chicks spread their wings? Mandalay cat thought for a few seconds, and immediately used his quirk to connect with all the teachers and students. All the people in Class A and Class B. In the name of professional hero Eraserhead. You are allowed to fight. Thank you for coming here to pass on the message. But you should go back quickly. Your injury is not ordinary. I know. Izuku turned and ran away, and soon ran into the forest. Who wants to go back? Now is the climax of the battle. Izuku's face bloomed with a sick smile. The main body fainted, so now it's my performance time. Izuku smiled and took out the Glock, which was still usable, from his back with his relatively intact left hand. The Mk3 had been damaged in the previous battle. Let's start, we can't kill people, but we can hurt people, he. Izuku rushed into the forest with the Glock. At the same time, in Class B, the straight male representative of Class B, Tetsu Tetsumasa, and his classmate Kento Iki fought against the enemy who released poison gas, but they were in a mess, not only because the enemy was difficult, but also because the enemy had a gun. Bang! The enemy shattered the makeshift gas mask on Tetsu's face with a single shot. There are hardened guys on the list, but it doesn't matter. The enemy raised the revolver in his hand again and pointed it at Tetsu. Even if your whole body is hardened, you are still a human being in essence. It depends on how long you can survive in my poison gas. The enemy smiled and watched Tetsu fall down, then moved his body to avoid Kento's sneak attack. I said, your every move is under my control. By the way, you are not a hardened personality, so I won't be polite. The enemy raised the gun in his hand again. Bang! Kento closed his eyes in fear, but the expected severe pain did not come. You wasted a good gun. A familiar voice came from a distance, and the enemy's knee was shot through. Who is it? I am the ninth person, the useless ninth person. The voice came from near to far, and finally disappeared. Damn it! Please faint! Kento slapped the enemy directly. That damn ninth person! Okay, okay, next, next! Izuku whispered, and continued to run in the forest, with 16 bullets left. 2 minutes later, when Shoji was chased by the crazy Tomoya, he finally thought of finding Bakugo and Shoto for help. The quirks of those two guys can calm the crazy Tomoya. Ahem. I finally found you too. Shoko looked at the angry Bakugo and Todoroki, who were also dealing with a very difficult enemy. Bakugo, Todoroki. It doesn't matter who you are. Hurry up and make some light. Chang'an has gone crazy. Everything will return to darkness. As soon as Shoko finished speaking, a dark monster nearly 5 meters tall rushed over from behind. These people are mine. Only I am worthy of seeing the cross-section of these children. The enemy actually ignored Bakugo and the others and fought with the already crazy Chang'an. Boom! Boom! The crazy Chang'an directly threw the enemy away. I haven't made enough trouble yet. Take advantage of this moment. Bakugo and Todoroki used their quirks at the same time to illuminate this dark place, and at the same time suppressed the crazy Chang'an back to his normal state. Sorry. Chang'an knelt on the ground, and his shadow shrank into his clothes. Sorry, it's my fault this time. I didn't take good care of Shadow. It's okay, it's okay. Your quiz is not suitable for action at night. Shoko waved his hand, and only 3 of his 6 replica wrists were left. The other 3 were cut off by the crazy Shadow. What should we do now? Todoroki said with a heavy breath. He had exerted a lot of effort in the fight against the enemy just now and was very tired now. We have to find other people to gather first, and then we have to go back to the training site. Of course I know this, damn it. A good training camp turned out like this, the enemies will die. Bakugo is still as irritable as ever. Then let's go, the 4 of us. Shoko temporarily became the leader of this 4-person team. Well. Shoko and Todoroki walked in the front, Bakugo and Chang'an walked in the back to cover the rear, and Bakugo suppressed Chang'an who was in an unstable situation. After walking for about 2 or 3 minutes, Shoko's copy wrist suddenly heard something. He made a gesture with Hong and the 2 people behind him, and the 4 of them quickly passed through the forest and came to a road. Gujaju, Gujaju. You. As soon as the 4 boys walked onto the road, they saw Okako Urari suppressing an enemy, and the enemy was making a strange sound. Oh my, someone is coming, it looks like we can't play anymore. The enemy who was suppressed by Urari suddenly exerted force and separated from Urari with a move. Humph, you boring guys, I don't have time to play with you. The enemy said so and left quickly, and Shoko only saw the blonde hair and the girl's school uniform. Are you okay, little Urari? Frog finally pulled out the knife that nailed him to the tree and fell down. I'm fine. Urari smiled. That guy is weird. He actually sucked my blood with that syringe. It's good that he's okay. We'll go back and meet the others now. We have to let Bakugo keep an eye on Chang'an. But where are little Bakugo and little Chang'an? We didn't see them. How is that possible? They are clearly behind us. Todoroki Shoto said as he looked back. There was no trace of Bakugo and Chang'an who were supposed to appear behind him. What's going on? As for Bakugo, I got him with magic. Just when everyone was confused, a guy wearing a mask, a windbreaker, a black top hat, and a black cane in his hand was playing with 2 marbles in his hand on the tree to their right. Because of some old problems in the past, he also disguised Chang'an, who was with him, without anyone noticing. Hehe, this is the highest standard for our magicians. This guy in a windbreaker called himself a magician. Bang bang. Those were 2 gunshots. Yet. Chapter 87, Enemy Evacuation. The magician fell from the tree, and following the magician to the ground were other familiar figures. Izuku. Midoriya-chan. Izuku-san. Midoriya. I saw Izuku Midoriya landing on the ground, holding the Glock in his left hand, and the Glock was holding the magician's head. I don't want to say it a second time, release Xiao Sheng and Chang'an, otherwise, I am willing to kill you on the spot at the cost of going to jail. The cold muzzle was pointed at the magician, and the magician swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Now something was very bad. I only give you 3 seconds to think about it. 3, 2. The force of the gun on his head became stronger. This guy was serious. Let me go. The magician compromised. He spit out 2 marbles from his mouth. The marbles in his hand were fake. Peng peng was heard twice, and Bakugu and Chang'an appeared in front of everyone again. Damn. Ahem. It seems that both of them were hit by personality without knowing it. You're quite honest. Dopamine in Izuku's body was still being secreted. Then can you let me go? Sorry, can't. Bang bang. With 2 more shots, Izuku broke the elbows of the enemy's hands. The first 2 shots he hit the enemy's thigh. Ah! The magician couldn't help shouting in pain. 4 bullets have been wasted on you. If you scream again, I will happily put a 5th bullet into your head. The magician shut his mouth under Izuku's threat. Humph, okay, you are my prisoner now. If you don't want to die, just answer my question, what is your purpose here? The adrenaline in Izuku's body was declining. Our purpose is to make a big fuss here, and take away Bakugo-san. He shouldn't be here. We have a better stage for him there. Cast. Fuck you. Bakugo took a few steps forward and wanted to kick this guy in the face. Kaken, calm down. Izuku's words rarely made Bakugo angry. Bakugo just lifted his foot and put it back down. Where is your gathering place? In that big open space is the forest. The magician drew a range with difficulty. You are the last step in this mission. I don't believe you don't have the means to contact other people. Use your means to tell your accomplices and ask them to gather at the meeting point. Izuku now controls the life and death of this magician. He had to do this. Although it didn't take much time. But the plan has been completed. Meet at the recycling location in 5 minutes. It must be said that this magician is not only good at magic, but also has one of the loudest voices. Everyone except Izuku covered their ears. Okay, Todoroki-kun, freeze him. Izuku looked at Todoroki-kun. Okay. Hong Xiaodong directly wrapped the enemy with ice cubes. Just when the enemy's head was about to be wrapped in ice cubes, he suddenly spoke. May I know who you really are? When I'm holding a gun, I like people to call me Jonah. When I'm not holding a gun, I like to be called whatever I want. Jonah. You are the 9th member of Coco's team. I didn't expect Jonah to be a young boy. The magician was frozen before he finished speaking. You go meet the others first. I have something to do. Izuku just finished speaking and rushed into the forest. Hey! Izuku! Damn you! Bakugo also followed Izuku and rushed into the woods. You guys! Shoji finally realized the squad leader's misfortune. It's impossible for us to leave any of our companions alone, right? Let's go. Todoroki-kun followed Bakugo and ran into the forest. Really, wait for me. Shoji sighed and ran into the forest. At the same time, Dabi and another enemy at the recovery point are waiting for the magician's arrival. Hey! Tobi, you are really inferior. You were killed twice, and both times were killed by the same person. I'm really bad, right? Tobi said, holding on to a big tree next to him and looking at the guy bragging in front of him. This guy is a schizophrenic, and his personality is to split himself or help others split. No matter what, your personality is the best among us. What the hell? He's obviously the worst. Tobi was a little unhappy when he saw this schizophrenic patient starting to talk to each other again. There was obviously someone more reliable, so why would he call this lunatic? The more I look at it, the angrier it becomes. Tobi whispered, touching the handle of a gun at his waist with his right hand. The silver gun body became brighter under the light of the flames. There was a special figure 8 on the gun body. Desert Eagle, Mobius Strip, World Serpent, 8th man that woman. Tobi loosened his grip on the handle of the gun. Hey, Xiao Tupi and Xiao Jingfen, why are only a few of us back? Where are the others? The blonde-haired woman walked over, her face full of helplessness. It seems that you are still on a mission. How many people's blood have you received? 1 person. The blonde woman said while playing with the knife in her hand. Hey? Do me, no matter what you say, you should get it for 3 people or something. This is a bit unreasonable. Stop it, little lunatic. I only got the blood of that little Li among these people. I didn't touch the others at all. Forget it, 1 person is enough. I have asked Kurogiri to open the door. Just wait for the magician to come back. I'm so sorry. Your magician can't come back. Izuku's voice reached this recycling location. Along with the voice came more than a dozen bullets. Bang 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 bang. Bullets shuttled through the woods, occasionally passing by the three enemies. This sound. It's little Midoriya. He he he. Little Midoriya, here I come. Toga smiled, holding a knife and rushing towards Izuku. Gara Gara Glock ran out of bullets. Izuku threw away the Glock and pulled out the tactical knife tied to his foot. Izuku always prepares two life-saving things. Little Midoriya. No. Midoriya-kun. I'm here. I'm going to tear you apart. You must look so good when you bleed. Who are you? Izuku rushed towards Toga with a tactical knife in his left hand. This person is also a madman. I'm Toga. Just call me Toga. Ding ding. In a few seconds, Izuku and Toga fought with swords several times, and the two blades kept sparking in the collision. I have a question. Izuku asked Toga a question during the battle. What's the question, little Midoriya? Toga jumped up again and rushed towards Izuku as soon as she landed. Has anyone told you that the biggest weakness of a knife user is when jumping in the air? Izuku couldn't understand this crazy woman. Why did she want to be a knife user when she could do anything else, and she liked to jump around so much? Izuku directly kicked Toga away with a roundhouse kick. The time to meet and retreat the enemy was a total of 30 seconds. Okay, next is to find your leader. Izuku's steps began to soften. Tisk, even Toga was taken care of? It looks like the mission failed. Dabi rubbed his hair and looked at Izuku, who rushed towards him. Hey! Dabi, the door is open, I'm leaving first. Mr. Schizophrenia was the first to walk into the door opened by Kuroki. Ah, the door is open, we can go back, see you next time, little Midoriya. Toga suddenly appeared from nowhere and rushed into the door. Kuroki, the mission failed, there are casualties. Dabi also slowly walked into the door opened by Kuroki. It's you, Kuroki. Izuku finally stood in front of Kuroki. You are Midoriya, you are seriously injured. Kuroki's yellow eyes floated above the door. Tisk, it's all thanks to Shigaraki. Tell Shigaraki that I really like the gifts you guys sent me this time. I'll give you something in return. It's a gift for everyone. I'll bring it there. Kurogiri said, and the door slowly disappeared. When the others arrived, they only saw the gradually disappearing black shadow and Izuku gradually falling to the ground. Damn it! It hurts so much. Chapter 88, Awakening and Questioning. When Izuku woke up again, it was already 2 days later. Familiar ceiling, right? This isn't the health room. Izuku sat up, his right arm still hurting. Hey? Midoriya-chan, you're awake. Tomeyu Tobuki, who was sitting next to Izuku and peeling apples, immediately took out his phone when he saw Izuku woke up. Plum rain frog blowing, Mina, Midoriya-chan is awake. Shanming Electric, I'll be up right away. 8,000,000, Miu, ask Midoriya what he wants to eat. I'm in the cafeteria now. Hong Jiaodong, I'm going out now. Kaminari Denki, Bakugu? Before, Izuku threatened me to find him as soon as he woke up. I have privately messaged 8 several times, but why haven't he responded yet? Mayu Frog Chui, Xiao Shang won't wake up at this time. 8,000,000? Urarika Okako? Miu Frog, oh, sorry, I am Midoriya. I am using Miu's mobile phone now. My mobile phone was damaged in the battle with the enemy. Miu Bashui, I just want to eat porridge. I just woke up and don't want to eat anything else. Chang'an Taiyin, thank you, Izuku-san, for saving me. Shangming Electric, oh, I thought Chang'an could only speak in middle school. Chang'an Taiyin, I learned about my naivety during the battle at the dormitory place, and I will not do it next time. Shangming Electric, Shadow, I was wrong, I will dare again next time. Ida Tinya, Izuku-kun, how are you doing now? Is your injury getting better? Miu Wakawi, I feel much better now, but my right arm still hurts. Tinya Ida invited ALLM to join the group. Kaminari Electric, Ida, who is all? Erlang Xiang, this idiot is, of course, All Might. ALLM, Green Valley Boy, how do you feel? Thanks to you this time. Miu Bashui, it's okay, this is what I should do. Midoriya-chan, do you want to eat an apple? Thank you, Wabuki-san. Izuku returned the phone to Amaya Wabuki and took Wabuki's apple. Midoriya-chan, you are really powerful this time. You almost turned the tide of the battle with your single-handed ability. The main body, she is praising me, hee hee. It's not all my fault. Izuku smiled. Yes, you are amazing. Hey? All Might in the group said he would come see you later. Wabuki said while looking at his phone. Really? That's awesome. Izuku raised his hands excitedly, while also pulling on the wound. Hiss. It hurts. The doctor said you shouldn't make any large movements. Your injury hasn't completely healed yet. Izuku, the two of us are here. Just when Wabuki was about to say something else, Kaminari Electric and 8,000,000 walked into the ward with breakfast. Good morning, 8,000,000 classmates, Kaminari-san. Midoriya-kun, you are so awesome this time. Kaminari gave Izuku-kun a thumbs up. I'm not good at all. I suffered such serious injuries in this battle, and I violated the combat treaty. I didn't follow the teacher's advice on where to stay. I'm not good at all. Midoriya-kun, don't say that. Your action this time directly protected a citizen and 2 heroic students. 8,000,000 hurriedly comforted Izuku. That's why. Although I saved Xiaosheng, who has a strong self-esteem, will never let me save him. I am definitely dead this time. Izuku said with a cry, covering his face. Midoriya? Are you crying? Just when Izuku was worried about whether Xiaosheng would beat him, a lychee head appeared in the ward. Ah, it's Todoroki-kun. Izuku put down his hand, quickly changed his face, and said with a smile. The others will arrive soon. All Might is also on his way. This incident exceeded the expectations of All Might and other professional heroes. The Heroes Association decided to impose sanctions on the enemy alliance. 800 won said as he handed Izuku the porridge. 8,000,000, your porridge is so delicious. Izuku said vaguely while drinking the porridge. Izuku, don't you feel anything about this matter? You are obviously the one who experienced the whole process firsthand. Kaminari Denki said while watching Izuku calmly drinking porridge and scratching his head. Well, actually it's not like I don't feel anything. Izuku put down the spoon and wiped his mouth with a tissue. This incident not only threatens the lives of our students in Class 1A at UE, but more seriously, there may be a spy within UE. Izuku said softly. The mole? You can't talk nonsense about this kind of thing, Midoriya-kun. Bawan said in surprise, covering his mouth. Think about it for yourselves. I don't know the truth of the matter. This is just a guess on my part. After Izuku finished speaking, he picked up a spoon and drank the porridge. Everyone else was shocked by Izuku's words, but if you think about it carefully, both USJ and this forest camp are confidential. Except for insiders, they are basically untouchable. Is there really a mole in Yumi? It's enough for a few of us to know about this matter. We can't tell anyone about it, especially you. Shang Ming. Ba Wan said immediately. I know, I will never talk nonsense about this kind of thing. Shang Ming immediately swore. Hey! Green Valley boy! It looks like you are recovering well. A huge figure with a painting style that was obviously different from the others walked into the ward. Following the huge figure were other students in the class, and of course there was a smile on their faces. A very unhappy Bakugo Katsuki. All Might. Izuku opened his eyes and shouted happily. And that annoying Kikin. You are not allowed to say that about him. Here, this is a condolence gift for you. All Might put the bag in his hand on Izuku's bed. Thank you All Might, wow. It's a out-of-print figure of All Might. Izuku opened the bag, and it was a out-of-print figure of All Might that he wanted so much. And All Might personally gave it to me. It means a lot. So happy. Okay, you guys go out first. I have something to discuss with the Green Valley boy about the dormitory incident. And All Might personally gave it to me. It means a lot. So happy. Okay, you guys go out first. I have something to discuss with the Green Valley boy about the dormitory incident. Well, okay, everyone, let's go out. Ida-san greeted everyone and walked out of the ward. Izuku, who was obsessed with the out-of-print All Might figure, didn't feel the two eyes constantly hovering over him. The first thing everyone did when they walked out of the ward was to close the door, and the second thing they did was to let the ear listen in. Erlang Xiang, I will never eavesdrop. Emma is so sweet. They should all be out. As soon as the door to the ward closed, All Might was discouraged. Every time Izuku saw All Might discouraged, he felt like he was like a balloon. All Might, what do you want to talk to me about? Izuku put the figure under the bed and put his hands on the quilt, like a well-behaved child. During the sleepover incident, you were carrying a gun, right? Chapter 89, Questioning and Dreams. Yes, I have a gun. Izuku looked at All Might with his deep green eyes. Why do you have a gun? Or, why do you have a gun? All Might looked at his disciple. I carry a gun because I don't feel safe at all, and the gun is just a gift from someone else, but those guns were destroyed in the previous battle, which means that I don't have a single gun now. Izuku looked at All Might without fear. By the way, did the magician tell us where they are? He did, but I want to know more about your other identity, the 9th person in Koko Hike Madia's private army, the all-around young soldier known as the Waste 9, that is you. When All Might told Izuku's other identity, the people who were eavesdropping outside almost held their breath. Since All Might asked me, I can't lie. Yes, I am indeed the Waste 9 but the all-around young soldier. This is really a compliment from my peers. Izuku smiled, and the atmosphere in the ward began to cool. I guess other classmates have told you about my encounter with Sister Coco, so I'll tell you about my summer when I was 13. If you're Xiaosheng, you should know it very well. On the first day of summer vacation, I followed Koko Hike Media and left Japan for a small country in Africa. From there, I started a 2-month trip with arms dealers. I can't describe the dangers in it, but when I returned home again, I was very happy. After all, I was a waste without even a quirk. Being able to survive was already a blessing from God. What else could I ask for? Izuku smiled at All Might after he finished speaking. All Might, do you want to take back your quirk? Izuku whispered, so soft that only All Might could hear it if he pricked up his ears. No, I won't take back one for all. All Might touched Izuku's head with his big hand. Why? It was Izuku's turn to be confused. It was obvious that people like me deserved to die. Because you saved others. All Might stood up and walked out of the ward. Besides, you didn't kill anyone. All Might just opened the door of the ward and saw the boys and girls of Class 1A dispersed with a boom. Main body, All Might is right, we didn't kill anyone, we injured the enemy and made them unable to move. I see, by the way, why are you unconscious too? I was the one who took over after you fainted. You also fought with those weirdos. Can you not sleep for a day to make up for your body? Is that so? Izuku lay back on the bed and closed his eyes. By the way, how are we going to return the gift this time? Humph, of course I will return the gift personally for the gift sent by Shigaraki, but the more important thing now is how to get my mother to continue to support me in studying at UA. Why? I know. I won't say much about the other one. Even going to the forest training camp with extremely high secrecy will be attacked by the enemy. How can the current UA be safe? As a mother, Midoriya Inoko will naturally not let her child go to such a dangerous place, although Inoko has no idea that Izuku has been abroad, let alone participate in such dangerous activities. Midoriya Izuku, I'm here for a consultation. The doctor opened the door of the ward and walked in. Hello, doctor. Izuku sat up again. It looks like you've recovered well. Oh, by the way, I received a letter for you. It was sent by a child and was specifically for you. The doctor took out a piece of white paper folded into a square from his clothes while checking Izuku. Specified for me. Izuku took the white paper and opened it. Izuku looked at it and laughed. This letter was sent by Koda, and it was also a thank you letter. Then I'll borrow your good wishes and get better soon. Izuku smiled and put away the thank you letter. Main body, this is the first time we have received a thank you letter. That's right, I'm so happy. Well, the examination has been completed. You are basically fine. You can be discharged today. Really? That's great. Izuku shouted happily. You can probably be discharged this afternoon. You still have to finish 3 bottles of 4 drips. You can't eat too spicy food. Remember. The doctor changed and 4 drip for Izuku, then took out a lollipop from his pocket and stuffed it into his mouth and walked out of the ward. You still have to finish 3-4 drips. Izuku watched the 4 drip drop by drop, feeling a little bored. He fell down and lay on the pillow again. Since you are fine now, sleep for a while. Then sleep for a while. Izuku slowly closed his eyes. Just as Izuku fell asleep, Bakugo and Todoroki Shoto walked into Izuku's ward again at the same time. Bakugo's face was quite bad. Waste of waste. Izuku, waste of waste? Still cute. Yin-yang face, what the hell do you want to do? Nothing? Are you too excited? Besides, Izuku is mine. What the hell did you say? In the dream, Izuku came to his favorite mission point, looking for a doctor in the deep mountains in winter. The doctor was a doctor of biology and an inventor, although her inventions were often assembled on weapons. Jonah, have you found anything? Uncle Rem was walking behind Izuku on the left. Not yet. In fact, Izuku had already found something wrong. He walked around with a gun in his hand. The scene changed, and the battle had already begun. Izuku was lying on a bunker at this time, and bullets flew over his head. 3 or 5. Izuku pulled the bolt, and suddenly he lowered his head, and a bullet flew over. These shots are quite good. Izuku tapped the ground and rushed out of the bunker and changed to a tree. The scene changed again, and the battle was over. A dozen guys wearing white camouflage uniforms and holding rifles in their hands were lying on the ground motionless. Strange. Jonah, let's go. Uncle Rem waved his hand, and Izuku's feet automatically ran. Here we go. In the forest, Izuku felt colder and colder, and his body began to shiver. What's wrong, Jonah? As a mountain soldier, you can't even stand this little bit of cold. Lutz, carrying a sniper rifle, touched Izuku's head. Even if Jonah is shivering, he's better than you, a guy with a wounded butt. Tojo patted Lutz on the shoulder. No way. It was just an accident. Lutz said, blushing and covering his butt. If Jonah hadn't discovered the enemy earlier, you would be a sieve now, loose. You have to thank Jonah. You don't need to thank me for anything. Eat more of the egg dishes I made. I might as well be beaten into a sieve. Ha ha ha. Jonah's egg dishes. Loose, just accept your fate. Everyone in the team knows that Jonah's egg dishes are a unique dark cuisine. After eating them, you will definitely fall into hell. Is my egg dish so bad? Have you never eaten it yourself? No. There were eggs in the lunchbox, but they were always knocked over by Xiaosheng, so I couldn't even eat them. Later, I didn't like to eat lunch very much. I always bought croissants from the school canteen. We are almost at our destination. R, who was walking in front, pointed to a valley in the distance. The geological environment there is different from here. The ecosystem in the valley is not affected by the wind and snow, so there are many flowers and butterflies there. The doctor came here for those butterflies. Let's go, take the doctor back. The weather here is really cold. I really want to drink a cup of hot wine now. Don't say it. Even if you pee now, it will turn into icicles. For your own good, don't pee anywhere. Let's go. Izuku exhaled a breath of cold air, holding his gun, and followed RS footsteps to the valley. Not to mention, as soon as he entered the valley, the warm and comfortable feeling returned to Izuku again. Jonah, you have good eyesight, go find the doctor quickly. I know. Izuku slung the gun across his back and began to look for the doctor's traces in this valley. After a while, Izuku found the doctor and her followers. The doctor in a white coat was holding a bug net and catching insects. Hey? Jonah. I found the doctor. Izuku turned his head and looked at Uncle Rem who was standing not far from him. Set up defenses immediately and check if there are any enemies that have escaped. Yes. This order actually means that everyone can play around in this place. Izuku also followed Uncle Rem's order and walked to a random place. I haven't seen such beautiful flowers for a long time. Izuku squatted down and was about to pick a flower to look at it. A shadow appeared in front of him. Black shoes, Orido's school uniform, and a bright silver pistol were pointed at Izuku's head. It felt cold. When he looked up again, he saw golden hair, blood-red eyes, and the arrogance between his eyebrows. Wait, die. Bang. Izuku fell into the flowers. Seeing the blood in front of him flowing more and more, Izuku finally understood why he felt strange before. When those people died, there was no blood. Izuku's eyes were slowly covered by blood red, and the echoing sound in his ears gradually increased, and he couldn't close his eyes. Believe that you will have a personality in your next life, and then do a dog crawl from the roof. By that time, I must have given up. By that time, I was already 2 years old. By that time, there are no ifs anymore, so let's just keep going. Don't you still have a glimmer of hope? Hope? Maybe. Boom. Bakugo-san. Bakugo-san. You can't fight in the ward. The sound of the explosion mixed with the shouts of the class monitor, and Izuku slowly opened his eyes. It turned out to be a dream. Izuku sat up, scratched his head and looked at Bakugo, who was being controlled by Ida and Kirishima. The sound of death just now came from Bakugo's mouth. Izuku's eyes darkened, and he turned his head to look at Bakugo, who was controlled by Frog Blow and Yami Yamizu. He exhaled cold air from time to time. In the ward, except for his own bed and the four-stand, everything else had been disrupted. No wonder I feel hot and cold, it seems you are fighting. Izuku pouted. The two childish people looked up at the four-stand, and the third medicine bottle had been finished at some point. Izuku removed the infusion needle, lifted the quilt, and got off the bed. Xiao Sheng, Todoroki-kun, stop fighting. If you keep fighting, this building will be destroyed. Izuku said as he took off his hospital gown and changed into a white shirt and black trousers that fell on the ground. Tisk. Yin Yang face, I will definitely kill you next time. Bakugo said as his body began to relax. He broke free from the control of Ida and Kirishima and walked out of the ward with a very unhappy look on his face. Fuck. Fiju is mine. Fuck your Yin Yang face. Sorry, I will bear the loss here. Todoroki pulled his hands out of Yumi Yumi and Frog's hands. Anyway, it's all paid by that stinky dad. Izuku, do you want to go back with me? Todoroki walked towards Midoriya, who was packing his things. Including his suitcase, his things were covered with a thin layer of ice gauze. No need, Todoroki-kun. I can go back by myself, so I won't bother you. Izuku said this, picked up his school bag, and put the out-of-print All Might figurine into the school bag. Ah, the zipper is broken? Looks like I need to fix my school bag. Izuku pulled the zipper of the school bag, and the zipper broke instantly, falling to the ground and breaking into 2 pieces. There's no other way, I can only go back to fix my school bag. Izuku was carrying his suitcase and his school bag, and walked out of the ward. In an instant, Todoroki seemed to see a small wooden box with a flash of red light inside. That thing, it looks familiar. Todoroki murmured. Chapter 90, Return of Gift. Izuku walked back home slowly. His mother had not returned from shopping for groceries, so Izuku put all his luggage back in the closet. I'm still so tired. Izuku lay down on the bed. He rubbed his face against the pillow, and then took out the diary that he had kept under the pillow. He originally planned to write it after the shared training was over, but now it's not too late to write. Izuku wrote down all the dreams he had and then closed the diary heavily. The next step is to think about the gift in return. Izuku tiptoed and took down a box from the top of the wardrobe. Xiao Sheng thought this was a cosplay outfit. Izuku opened the box, and inside was a blue urban combat uniform. I haven't worn this combat uniform a few times. Izuku shook off the combat uniform. It was dark blue, with a black hood, a human skin mask, and a pair of black combat boots. With that SCR and some special props, wouldn't it be easy to return a gift? Hey, main body, do you really plan to wear these to return the gift? And do you know where their stronghold is? I don't know. Izuku shook his head. Then how should I return the favor? Isn't it enough just to follow All Might? If you say that, there is a risk of being discovered. No matter what, I must return this gift. Izuku said as he took out a new mobile phone from the drawer. After putting the still usable phone card into the new phone, Izuku opened the group chat. Midoriya Izuku, phew, I can finally join the group. Omei Owabuki, Midoriya-chan, you are finally online. Please persuade Bakugo and Todoroki. They both have to participate in the activities of professional heroes to defeat the enemy alliance no matter what. Bakugo Katsuki, Stinky Frog. What the hell are you talking about? Midoriya Izuku, Xiao Sheng, don't go. Those who go are all professional heroes, and the enemy alliance is so strong, Xiao Sheng, you will be injured. Bakugo Katsuki, damn it, it's obviously Kwaku, you're such a waste. I won't be like you. Boomstick, Andava said that if the enemy alliance could be broken up, social security would be much better. Kaminari Denki, the two people upstairs mainly want to take revenge on Izuku. Erlang Xiang, if you don't speak, no one will think you are mute. 8,000,000, well, All Might asked me for a radar just now. It was the radar that I put the transmitter on that now woo. I took a sneak peek and it was in the city next door, not far from us. Erlang Xiang, I also overheard the battle plan of All Might and the others. I spent 3 days on reconnaissance, and on the 4th day I directly wiped out the enemy alliance. 8,000,000, so. Erlang Xiang, so, are you going to watch professional heroes fight their enemies? 8,000,000, and All Might will go too. Tinya Ida, Arkun. And the deputy monitor. What are you two doing? Ida Tinya, you are absolutely not allowed to go there without permission. Add me. Shenming Electric, monitor, you have changed. It's a pity that I can't go. Erlang Xiang, I can't go either. I was asked by my father to write new songs at home. 8,000,000, tell me who is going, so I can remember the number of people. Todoroki Jiaodong, I want to go. Bakugo Katsuki, I'm going too. Ida Tinya, I have to keep an eye on you, so I'm going too. Kirishima Eijiro, count me in. Izuku Midoriya, I'll forget it. Although I really want to see All Might fighting the enemy, my body doesn't allow it now. Tinya Ida, that's true, Midoriya-kun, just stay at home. Then it's decided that we will take the train to the next city at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Todoroki Jiaodong, I understand. Bakugo Katsuki, tomorrow afternoon, right? I know. Kirishima Eijiro, he looks so manly. Izuku Midoriya, Ida-kun, can you take a picture of All Might? Please. Tinya Ida, don't worry and leave it to me. Izuku put away his mobile phone and his small equipment. Now his mother thought that he was out training at a dormitory. He could go out quickly now, and he could even prepare in advance for the city next door. It's time to start drinking the potion that Grandpa gave me. Izuku took out a bottle of blue potion from the small wooden box, took off the cork, raised his head, and the blue potion in the test tube quickly disappeared. The taste is a bit strange. It's bitter and sour. Izuku wiped his mouth and put the finished test tube back into the small wooden box. My tongue feels a little weird after drinking. Forget it, while it's still early, pack up everything and go to that city to find a hotel to stay. Izuku put the city combat uniform into his luggage, then he took some long sleeves and trousers that he didn't usually wear in the box. Finally, he straightened his hair and put on the human skin mask. Now, I am the real Jonah. Izuku looked at himself in the floor-length mirror with white hair, red eyes, and slightly darkened skin, and laughed. The face looked ugly when he smiled. It's time. Izuku walked out of the house carrying his suitcase and the black suitcase containing the SCR. Let's get started, I will personally return the gift, Shivang Mu, just wait for me. Do. Just as Izuku was walking towards the tram stop, a silver figure stopped him. Mobile Pegasus? How did you end up here? Master, if you want to go, I have to go too. Why did you recognize me? Master's voice is unmistakable. Mobile Pegasus was very determined. I must go with you, Master. I want to protect you. Then let's go together, but can you take the train like this? Well, as long as I keep this form, I should be able to take it. Maybe someone will think I'm a hero. Mobile Pegasus gave a thumbs up. How long can you keep this form? About 3 hours. 3 hours? That's enough time, so let's go. No problem, Master. 2 hours later, Izuku grabbed Mobile Pegasus' hand and walked out of the train station with a helpless look on his face. Someone actually thinks you're a hero. Izuku turned his head and looked at the gift in Mobile Pegasus' other hand. I heard that mechanical Q heroes are very popular recently. Is that why you have so many gifts? Izuku pulled Mobile Pegasus into a small alley. What are these? 2 of the gifts are Saitama's specialty scallops, and I haven't found out about the other gifts yet. Okay, we can't accept those gifts. Put them in a big bag and find a place to put them down. Okay, Master. You can't call me Master here. Change my temporary name to Jonah. The temporary time is 4 days. Received the order, Jonah, what should we do now? Let's put these things away first, and then find a hotel and book a single room for 4 days. By the way, Mobile Pegasus, how long will it take you to transform again? Human mode. 5 hours to charge, 6 hours of operation. What were you doing in the last 3 hours? Looking for Jonah. When Jonah is within the range of my electronic radar, I will automatically switch to robot mode and start looking for Jonah. Why didn't you come when I was at the training site? I came, but I consumed too much energy in the forest, so I didn't show up. Besides, didn't Jonah say he didn't want me to go? Wait, so you were following me? That's a secret way to protect the master. I suddenly want to hit you, how can I do that? Chapter 91, The Killer Weapon. In the end, Izuku and Mobile Pegasus checked into a hotel and booked a double room. I didn't expect the prices here to be so high. I spent 30,000 yuan to book a double room for 4 days, and it was a meaningless double room. Then I can't do anything about it. Who told them to think I was a hero? Mobile Pegasus shrugged helplessly, then switched to motorcycle mode and started charging. Tisk, my little treasury will shrink again now. Izuku pouted, took out the black suitcase, and reinstalled the SCR that was disassembled into parts. Kala pulled the bolt, and the black magazine was installed in the magazine slot. Mobile Pegasus, do you think that with my current equipment, I can deal a huge blow to the enemy alliance? Beep beep beep. The front of the motorcycle shook. Although it didn't want to dampen Jonah's enthusiasm, it was difficult for Jonah to pose a threat to any enemy with his current equipment. Even you said so, but it doesn't matter, I'm just going to return the gift, it won't take too much time or force. Then put down the grenades in your suitcase. Such things can actually be brought into the country, what do you do as customs officers? After carefully wiping the 10 grenades in the suitcase with the towel in the room, Izuku put the grenades back into the suitcase. Just stay here and I'll go out to buy something to eat and find some clues in this city. Toot toot toot. Mobile Pegasus wanted to turn around and follow Midoriya Izuku. I told you, just stay here and stay. Izuku closed the door of the room and took away the key. Next, let me get to know you, Jino. Izuku shook the key in his hand. Kuromika's clothes, bartender's clothes? Interesting, let's go find some bars in this city. Izuku sat on a long chair by the road and looked at the phone in his hand, and nodded. Sure enough, Kuromika's clothes were standard bartender clothes, even the cuffs on his wrists were the same. As an enemy bartender, and as a key figure, he naturally can't show his face in front of everyone often, so this bar must not be discovered by others, but there must be someone who knows about this bar. Now I just need to find that kind of mysterious bar on the website of this city, it should be okay. Izuku muttered while searching for special bars in the city of Shanai on his phone. The night gradually came, until 7 o'clock in the evening, Mobile Pegasus finally charged up the energy, transformed into robot mode, and planned to open the door to find Izuku. Just when Mobile Pegasus's hand reached for the door handle, the door of the room was opened, and Izuku came in with a big bag of things. The prices here are really high. I spent 10,000 yuan to buy food for 4 days. I can buy these things at home for only 5,000 yuan. Izuku said as he walked into the room with a bag. Jonah, eating so much junk food is not good for your health. You can't cook, and there are no materials here. Stop arguing. This is number 90 gasoline. This gasoline alone cost me 20,000 yuan. Izuku said as he threw a black bottle to Mobile Pegasus. Mobile Pegasus took the bottle. The bottle was large but only half filled with gasoline. Thank you, Jonah. Mobile Pegasus opened the oil pipe on his chest and poured the gasoline directly into it. In fact, it didn't use much gasoline at all. He just wanted to taste whether the gasoline tasted good. Taste, slightly sweet, strong gasoline flavor, the energy generated is far lower than its own production capacity, next time I won't ask Jonah to buy it, it's a waste of money. Jonah. Mobile Pegasus finished drinking the gasoline, put the bottle on the ground, and walked towards Izuku who was boiling water. He had to eat instant noodles tonight. What's wrong? Mobile Pegasus. You came back so late, you must have found the target. Well, the target was found, but that place is hard to detect, worthy of the enemy alliance, but that should be just an ordinary base. Izuku showed the paper in his hand to Mobile Pegasus. On the paper was the name of a bar. In fact, the bar had no name at all, it was just a nickname given by netizens on the website. A magical bar, it is said that people who entered never came out. Izuku said while searching on his mobile phone. The location is here, there is no defense outside, can only say that it is worthy of the enemy alliance. Too confident in yourself. Izuku said while taking out a pen and starting to analyze on the notebook he carried with him. The enemy alliance, the opponents I know now are Shigaraki, whose quirk is Collapse, Black Mist, whose quirk is Portal, Toga, whose quirk is unknown but whose taijutsu is powerful, a guy whose entire body is burned except for the upper half of his face, a guy in a bodysuit, and Brainless, who is the most troublesome. From the previous incidents, we can know that the enemy alliance has an astonishing number of Brainless, and each of them has great power, and their quirks are unknown, and they may have multiple quirks. Izuku bit his finger while analyzing. Jonah, it's late, the noodles are ready, don't you want to eat? Mobile Pegasus put the already sloppy instant noodles in front of Izuku. You can't eat it now. I still have too little information, so I can only analyze it myself. Jonah, there's All Might on the evening news tonight, don't you want to watch it? Really? All Might will appear on the evening news today. Izuku immediately put down the pen in his hand and turned on the TV in the room. Evening news, evening news. Izuku said while constantly changing the channel with the remote control. Welcome back to the evening news. This afternoon, the number one hero All Might gave a speech at the entrance of UA. Half an hour later, Izuku threw the empty instant noodle box into the trash can. Burp, I didn't expect All Might to actually do it himself. Izuku wiped his mouth with a tissue. Then do we still need to launch an action? We can launch an action before the professional heroes do, and I think this action against the enemy alliance will never end so easily, especially the person behind Shigaraki Alforoni. This time, we must use the trump card. When I think of Alforoni behind Shigaraki, my whole body is shaking. I will definitely not sleep well today. I might as well stay up late to write the battle plan. But let alone me, even All Might knows only a little about Alforoni. I am the successor of the 7th generation On For All. I don't know anything about this opponent. But in the USJ battle, Shigaraki knew that All Might's personality was handed over to someone else, but he didn't know who it was handed over to. But I am definitely one of the people targeted. They even directly identified me as the next successor. What should I do now? Izuku bit his fingers and started to mutter again. I can't show my true face in this battle. I have to let the enemy think that I am still recuperating in the hospital. And I absolutely cannot use 1-for-all this time to prevent being targeted by enemies outside the enemy alliance, so this time I can only use the trump card. The trump card, but we have to get familiar with the specific use of the trump card. As for the method, I can't be in front of everyone now, not to mention that the trump card is basically another hero. A hero must have a hero license to carry out activities. The trump card must be used when necessary. So what should I do? What should I do to get familiar with the battle of the trump card? Izuku started scratching his hair again. Jonah, are you worried about how to use the belt? Yes. I'm almost annoyed now. Actually, Jonah, you can ask me. Ask you. Chapter 92, The Call from the Initiator. This thing looks like a camera, but it can be used as a boxing glove to attack the enemy. Just insert the energy chip into the slot here, and then wait for the energy to be transferred. The force of a punch can reach 5 tons directly. This thing looks like a flashlight, but it is not. Just insert the energy chip into the slot, and then install this thing on the ankle of your right foot, and wait for the energy to be transferred. Then you can kill the enemy. The ultimate move, Rider Kick. Mobile Pegasus explained to Izuku about the equipment on his body seriously. Rider Kick, Rider Kick? This move looks super cool. Izuku clenched his fists excitedly. Now he was familiar with all the equipment, and the only thing left was actual combat. Jonah, don't worry, Rider Kick is very powerful. Basically, one kick can kill the enemy, so don't use this move easily. Well, I remember this. Izuku said while writing in his notebook with a pen. It's late now, Jonah, you should go to bed. Isn't it late? It's already 6 in the morning. I have to find a place to run or I will feel uncomfortable. I'm going to run first. As soon as Izuku finished speaking, he ran out the door and took the key away. Jonah. I told you to have a good rest. As soon as Mobile Pegasus finished speaking, it changed to motorcycle mode again due to insufficient energy and started charging again. Wait a minute, you started teaching Izuku the ability of the killer since last night, Why is it charging now? Mobile Pegasus, the plot requires it, please shut up. On the other side, the Kugo is preparing the luggage for the afternoon and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Smelly boy. You just came back not long ago. Why are you going out again? What do you care? Smelly old woman. Bang. You stinky boy. How can you talk to your mother? How can I repair it? The Kugo struggled with a big bump on his head. Tell me the truth. I'm going to the next city with other classmates. No problem, I'm not lying to you. What about Izuku? Isn't he going with you? That jerk. The Kugo remembered what All Might had said. We can't let the enemy know that Izuku is out of the hospital now. He's still recovering in the hospital, tisk. Bang. Another punch. Fuck you. You don't even go to see him? How dare you be his classmate? Why should I go to see him? That jerk is fine now. The Kugo covered the second big bump on his head. I'm glad that Izuku is okay. Izuku is much more obedient than you. When you come back, remember to go see Izuku. You don't need to talk too much. Now I don't even know where that jerk has gone. At the same time, at Todoroki's house, Todoroki was also packing his things. Endeavor stood at the door of his room, watching him pack his things. Thinking of his previous performance in the career experience, Endeavor's face was full of relief. His son finally had the ability to surpass All Might. My son is extraordinary. He can definitely surpass All Might. Others use their own power, which has nothing to do with you, don't be so conceited. Shoto, where are you going? Endeavor's voice made Todoroki pause while packing his things. Todoroki frowned slightly and continued to pack his things. Where I go is none of your business. Todoroki packed his suitcase as quickly as possible. He walked around Endeavor with the suitcase and walked towards the door. Xiaodong, where are you going? Tell me so I can report to the office and prepare things for you. Well, we are going to the next city, Shanai. Todoroki thought for a while and said as he walked out of the door, then he closed the door. It's a waste if you don't spend your stinky dad's money. Xiaodong oh. Dad looks like a fire-breathing goose now. Todoroki Fuyamai, who was hiding in the corner watching the show, covered her mouth and laughed. At 8:30 in the morning, Izuku returned to his room after doing full-body exercise. After returning to the room, he immediately took off his coat and shirt that were soaked with sweat. I didn't expect the human skin mask my sister sent me to be so comfortable and breathable. Izuku said while wiping the sweat off his face with a towel. Toot, toot, toot. Mobile Pegasus moved his position and blocked himself in front of the bathroom. I won't take a shower so soon. Mom said that taking a shower right after running will make you catch a cold. Izuku said this, took off his clothes and put them on another bed, waiting to clean them when taking a shower, and then used the hair dryer in the room to dry them. Now I have to wait until the sweat stops coming out, then I can take a shower. In the next period of time, let's read the news. Izuku poured water into the kettle while playing with his mobile phone. Hey? They actually put the training camp incident on the internet, and also said that I was seriously injured and unconscious? These media are really good at playing. Izuku laughed out loud while watching the news on his mobile phone. Beep beep Mom's call. Hello, Mom. Izuku. How are you now? Don't scare Mom. On the other side of the phone, Midoriya Hiko's voice started to sound like crying. Mom, I'm fine. If something happens, I can't answer your call. Don't you? Mom, don't worry. I'm fine in the hospital. Don't believe those nonsense outside. I'm a European in the hospital. Remote's idea. Izuku, if you're okay, come back soon. Midoriya Hiko wiped the tears from his face, and when he heard his son's energetic voice, he was half relieved. Well, Mom, I may have to stay in the hospital for another 3 days. I can't tell you the specific location, but don't worry. I'm staying well in the hospital. I'm in great health. Hospital the internet is also very good and the food is good, so don't worry. That's good, that's good. Midoriya Hiko's heart was also very big. When she heard that Izuku was still happy in the hospital, she finally felt relieved. After hanging up the phone, Izuku let out a sigh of relief, having finally fooled his mother. Body, you forgot to take the medicine. Ah, I almost forgot. Izuku took out a tube of blue potion again, uncorked it, and drank it in one gulp. So astringent. Izuku stuck out his tongue after drinking. Did Grandpa make a mistake? Why is it so bitter? It tastes terrible. The whole tongue is numb and I can't move it at all. Izuku put his tongue back into his mouth. Just as he was about to move it, a numb feeling immediately covered his tongue. Can we only use ventriloquism? Izuku slightly used his ventriloquism, but fortunately he could still use ventriloquism. Origin, Grandpa, did you make a mistake? Probably not. I remember that the formula of the second tube of reagent is some Chinese medicinal materials. It is normal for it to be bitter. But now it's so astringent that I can't move my tongue, so I can only use ventriloquism. Ventriloquism is very tiring. Isn't this just following your wishes for the other me? Can you not speak? I'm going to take a shower now. After I take a shower, I'm going to sleep. You can have fun with it as you want. Hey. Very good. I can finally sleep from dawn to dusk. Are you that sleepy? Although I'm not sleepy, I really want to sleep. After taking a shower, Izuku sat on the bed with his arms crossed. As a result, I can't sleep even more now. Izuku muttered, putting on the human skin mask again. Mobile Pegasus, let's go for a walk outside. Do. Pegasus Mobile looked at the time. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I haven't even finished charging. I'm going outside with you. You don't know how to ride a motorcycle, so forget it. Do. The mobile Pegasus turned around again and blocked himself at the door, unable to let Yoina out. What? It's already 2 o'clock in the afternoon by the time you finish charging. It's super hot outside at that time, okay. Izuku sat back on the bed with a pout on his face, turned on the TV and started watching TV. Chapter 93, Going Out. At 5:30 in the afternoon, Izuku was woken up by the Pegasus and he wiped the drool from the corner of his mouth. Is the charge finally finished? The Pegasus nodded and pointed at the door. Let's go out for a walk. Okay, let's go. Izuku put on the human skin mask again, carrying a tactical knife on his body and followed the mobile Pegasus in robot form out of the door. Then where should we go shopping first? According to the information I found, there is a snack street in Kamno that specializes in snacks. Let's go there for a stroll. Mobile Pegasus and Izuku got on an elevator in this hotel. At the same time, another one the elevator door opened quietly, and it was Bakugo and the others who walked out of the elevator. This is my dad's property. There are double rooms in the back. I'll give you the key. Hong Xiaodong gave the keys to several people, and then went to live in a double room by himself. Bye-bye, let's go find our room. Ashido-sana said, holding one of Babai's hands. Ashido, didn't you say before that you were coming too? Ida looked at Ashido helplessly. Who said I didn't say anything? I've obviously been chatting with you privately, but the squad leader didn't see it. Ashido made a face at Ida. Fuck, if you keep yelling, believe it or not, I will blow you all up. Bakugo is very angry now, because he was woken up while sleeping. Everyone who knows Bakugo knows that Bakugo has quite a lot of skills. A strong wake-up call. Bakugo-san, you can't use personality here. The teacher already told you this on the first day of class. Of course I know, glasses man. Bakugo walked into his room with a very unhappy look on his face. Damn it, he actually had to share a room with this nagging glasses man. The thought of it made him so damn unhappy. Bakugo-kun, don't give your classmates random nicknames. You're so fucking annoying. By the way, after putting away the luggage, everyone will gather on the first floor to go out and play together and buy some disguise props. Ashido's head popped in at some point and he said cheerfully. Why do you need to buy disguise props? I still need to disguise. Bakugo-kun, we are actually going against the teacher's instructions. In addition, professional heroes will be coming in the past few days, and many of them are teachers in our school. In order not to be discovered by the teachers, we have to make some disguises. It's necessary. Ida persuaded Bakugo Katsuki who was lying on the bed. Tisk. This is so troublesome. Bakugo sat up from the bed. I will go. At 6:10 p.m., Izuku and Pegasus were eating snacks and walking. Ah! This meatball is really delicious. Sure enough, I came here at the right time. Izuku took a bite of the octopus meatball and felt like he was flying with joy. Jonah, don't we have to spy on that magic bar? It shouldn't be necessary. Professional heroes are not fools. They can analyze more than me. We just need to return the gift before they act. Giving them 10 grenades is not too much. As long as Jonah is happy. That is to say, as long as people live happily, why is the main body always obsessed with becoming a hero? Regardless of his injuries, he only cares about saving people and training. I am worried about him. Jonah, what are you talking about? No, there is something wrong with your hearing program. Can you perform self-examination? I will conduct an overall overhaul of myself every day, and there will be no problems. Really? But my appearance like this should not be discovered by others. It's hard to say, because All Might knows the fact that I am Jonah, and the Heroes Association will definitely investigate me thoroughly, so I still have to buy something in disguise. Izuku turned his head and walked into a decoration store. The mobile Pegasus turned into motorcycle mode and parked in the alley next to the decoration store. It was disguised. No one would have thought that a humble motorcycle can transform into a robot. At the same time, Bakugo and the others also walked into the jewelry store. The Pegasus trembled nervously when they saw them walking into the jewelry store. Jonah, come out quickly, your classmates are here. These sunglasses are pretty good looking. Izuku reached out, took a pair of sunglasses off the shelf, and put them on his face smoothly. When he was about to look in the mirror to see if the sunglasses fit, something suddenly happened next to him. As he walked past someone, his body instinct quickly made Izuku shiver. What happened? Izuku turned his head. Oh my god! It's Xiao Sheng. Don't panic, we must not let Xiao Sheng discover anything unusual now. I don't know him now, I don't know him now, I don't know him now. After hypnotizing himself, Izuku continued to choose the disguised accessories. This cloak is good. It's exactly the same as Chang'an's. You can buy it. Izuku picked up the things in a low voice. After a while, he bought it. He quietly brought the things he bought to the counter. On the way to the counter, I saw Ashido, Ida, 8 million, and Todoroki, plus Bakugo. There were 5 people in total. They actually came. I thought they were just talking. What should I do now? Calm down, I must be calm, and I must not let them see any flaws. By the way, I have to buy another mask. Izuku grabbed a mask at random. It was a clown face that was half laughing and half crying. It was a bit ugly. Hello, I want to pay. Izuku opened his mouth slightly and whispered to the waiter standing at the counter in ventriloquism. Okay. The waiter quickly swiped the bill for the goods purchased by Midoriya Izuku and put them in a bag. The total is 6,400 yuan. It's so expensive. Izuku sighed again in his heart that the prices here are simply super expensive. Okay? It costs 6,400 yuan to buy only 3 things. It's really too profitable. I won't buy here next time. Izuku said in a low voice and walked out of the jewelry store. Just when Izuku walked out of the jewelry store, Todoroki Shoto and Bakugo Katsuki looked at the door of the jewelry store at the same time. A person they didn't know at all was walking out of the jewelry store. Who is that guy? Why does he feel so familiar? Bakugo Katsuki's eyes seemed to be fixed on Izuku. What's the matter with feeling that this guy is a bit like Izuku? Am I worrying too much? It's definitely you two who worry too much. Now I beg you two to go and choose and buy. Hey, Mobile Pegasus, let's go. Izuku walked out of the accessories store and whispered to Mobile Pegasus in the alley. Jonah, you go first, I'll change my skin. What? Half an hour later, Ashido walked out of the accessories store with a helpless look on her face. I didn't expect the things sold here to be so bad. There's not even a nice piece of clothing. What are you doing? Ashido shouted loudly, trying to vent all her anger. Waste of time. I'm going back. Hey! Aren't you going to have some snacks together? It's almost 8 o'clock now. I'm so sleepy. I'm going back to bed first. Bakugo, are you an old man? How can a young person go to bed so early? Then I'll go back too. Todoroki Shoto and Bakugo turned around and left. Then let's go shopping together. The food on this street looks delicious. But Ashido, didn't we just have dinner? Bibai, didn't you say that your quirk can only be used with your own fat? Let's get fat together. If you want to get fat, don't drag me down with you. Hey, let's go together. Ida looked at the female duo walking farther and farther away and scratched his head. What should I do now? Chapter 94, The Third Bottle of Blue Potion. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the mobile Pegasus stood at the door of Izuku's room and knocked softly. "Jonah, I'm back." "You're back." Izuku opened the door for the Pegasus while wearing a hood. The Pegasus was almost all black now, which really shocked Izuku. "Mobile Pegasus, why have you turned black?" Izuku tilted his head and looked at the mobile Pegasus standing at the door. "I told you I would change my skin, don't let me stand here anymore. The trust value is 90.1%, and Todoroki and Bakugo Katsuki are coming back at 90%. What the hell? Xiaosheng and Todoroki are coming back. If you don't let me in, they will come out of the elevator in 3 seconds. Izuku immediately gave up his position and pulled the Pegasus into the room and closed the door. Just as Izuku closed the door, Bakugo Katsuki and Todoroki walked out of the elevator and disliked each other. Damn it! The two turned and walked to their respective rooms. "Why are they in this hotel?" Izuku asked the Pegasus standing in front of him in a low voice. "This hotel seems to be a property owned by number 2 Hero Andova/U0026 Associates. It's over, we absolutely can't stay here anymore, mobile Pegasus. Let's leave here right now until we come back in the morning." Izuku put on the camouflage suit and mask he just bought without a second thought. He even bought a pair of sunglasses and kept them in his pocket to better protect himself. After putting on the camouflage suit, Izuku immediately opened the window and wanted to jump out, but was stopped by the Pegasus. "Jonah, even if you go out now, others will notice you. We might as well carry on as usual." "Well, you're right. It's best for us to carry on as usual now, but I need to remember something so that I won't forget it tomorrow." "Jonah, what are you talking about? Why can't I understand?" "It's okay if you don't understand it. You can understand it, so how can I play?" "Forget it, I won't go out today, and I won't be able to go out tomorrow." Izuku thought like this and took out his pen. "I started writing notes on Japanese paper. I must not go out tomorrow. After the main body wakes up, I might secretly visit Xiaosheng and Todoroki. Therefore, for the good of the main body, I have to put him in this room, so I have to drink the third tube of blue potion myself." Izuku turned to look at his yellow school bag. The third bottle of blue potion was placed in the small wooden box. According to the instructions in Grandpa's book, after drinking the third bottle of blue potion, the whole body will lose strength, which means tomorrow's activities will also stop. I must prevent the main body from going out. Izuku nodded and took the blue potion. Came out, then sat on the bed and wrote notes. "Mobile Pegasus, as soon as I wake up tomorrow, you have to show this thing to me. No doubts are allowed, okay?" "Yes, Jonah, I understand." The Pegasus nodded. "Then I'll leave it to you this time." Izuku nodded and started turning on the TV to spend some time. At 12 o'clock in the evening, Izuku turned off the TV and sent a good night message to his mother on his mobile phone. Then Izuku drank the last bottle of blue potion. "Good night then." Izuku put the phone next to him. Just as he was about to sleep, his phone suddenly buzzed. While he still had the strength, Izuku turned around and picked up his phone. "Xiaosheng, hey, Fiju, you must not have slept, right? Xiaosheng, where the hell are you now? Xiaosheng, reply to me right now." "I can't reply to you yet, Xiaosheng." The left side of Izuku's body began to lose strength, and he didn't bother to care. Just when he was about to put the phone away again, the phone started vibrating again. "Who is it again?" Todoroki, is Izuku sleeping?" "Hong Jiaodong, if you haven't slept, let's have a chat together." "Hong Jiaodong, you are definitely not asleep at this point, right? Let's chat together." Sorry, I fell asleep. Please talk to me next time." "What the hell is this strong crazy style? Why does Todoroki-kun even know what time I go to bed? There is definitely a problem. Main body, what kind of friends have you made?" "No, I absolutely can't reply to them now. If they find me here, they might rush over and tear down my door, so just pretend they didn't see it." Izuku gave up on himself and struggled to straighten his body. Just as he was about to turn off the phone, he found that he had no strength now. This is how it feels to have no strength. It feels like a salted fish without dreams. This feeling is not bad for me. Izuku thought and closed his eyes. "See you tomorrow, main body." At 10:30 the next morning, Izuku finally woke up from his sleep and opened his eyes with difficulty. Izuku felt that he couldn't exert any strength in his body. What's going on? Why can't I even open my mouth? Izuku looked surprised and wanted to say something, but found that he couldn't say anything. Jonah, you're awake. The mobile Pegasus had just finished charging. As soon as he saw Izuku waking up, he immediately walked to Izuku with the piece of paper he wrote yesterday. Did Xiao Sheng and Todoroki really come to this city? And the third bottle of blue potion that I drank at 12 o'clock this morning? The potion is effective for about 12 hours, which means I have to wait another 2 hours to recover. I'm so hungry now. Is Jonah hungry? If you are, just blink. Izuku blinked. I'll boil water right now. Mobile Pegasus immediately boiled water to cook instant noodles. 3 minutes later, Izuku finished a bowl of instant noodles in one breath. He blinked at Mobile Pegasus again, indicating that he was not full yet. I know. At 11 o'clock in the morning, it took a full hour for Izuku to finish all the food for 4 days. He burped for a long time. Burp. The energy of these things I ate reached tens of thousands of calories, but why do I feel like I just ate? And the energy consumption is extremely fast. Wait, I can talk. Izuku moved his hands and feet, and immediately understood a truth. The third bottle of energy potion was not actually absorbed by strength, but by his own energy. The more energy absorbed, the greater the possibility of awakening Q. Izuku immediately rushed to the landline in the room. Now he had to replenish a lot of energy. Hello, this is the front desk, how can I help you? Please order 30 KFC burgers for me right now, and have them deliver them as quickly as possible. By the way, have them bring a POS machine so I can pay with my card. Okay, I'll order it for you right away. 10 minutes later, Izuku finally waited for the KFC delivery person. He was just a little bit short of running out of energy again. After paying with his card with difficulty, Izuku immediately started eating the burger. Now he had to replenish his energy, and even the door was closed for him by the mobile Pegasus. At 12:05, Izuku finally felt that his energy was saturated, and he put down the last burger in his hand. Hickey, I may not want to eat burgers for a while. Chapter 95, The Action Begins. Izuku put the last burger on the table, then lay back and fell directly on the bed. He pinched his tight abdominal muscles, wondering why he didn't feel his stomach bulging after eating so many burgers. Is it because the energy was absorbed? Izuku moved his hands and feet again. I didn't feel any discomfort. Sure enough, Grandpa's inventions were not very reliable. Suddenly, Izuku felt his stomach rolling, and a strong desire to go to the toilet suddenly came up. Oh my god, the surveillance plan may be stranded. I really want to go to the toilet now. Mobile Pegasus, help me watch and don't let others in. Okay Jonah. Mobile Pegasus watched Jonah hold his stomach and walk into the toilet. Jonah's physical condition is now good. Why did he suddenly have a stomachache? The computer did not come up with an answer. An hour later, Izuku stumbled out of the toilet. After squatting in the toilet for so long, not only his legs were sore, his body was directly weak, and even the toilet was almost blocked. Grandpa's inventions are not very reliable. Izuku covered his stomach and lay on the bed. Now the surveillance operation could not be carried out in the afternoon. I don't even want to move now. Izuku twisted his stomach. Although it was still so tight, Izuku felt that his stomach was like unconscious now. It would probably not hurt if he punched it. Jonah, what's wrong with you? Mobile Pegasus tilted his head as he looked at Izuku lying motionless on the bed. It's okay, I'm just exhausted. Go charge first. We will go to monitor in the afternoon. Set an alarm for me at 4 p.m. No problem, Jonah. Mobile Pegasus changed back to motorcycle mode and set an alarm for Jonah at 4 p.m. At 4 p.m., Mobile Pegasus first woke up from standby mode at the sound of the alarm. Beep, beep. Jonah, it's time to get up. Well. Okay. Izuku woke up from his sleep and wiped the drool from the corner of his mouth. In his dream, he awakened a super powerful quirk and finally could stand with Xiao Sheng to fight the enemy. With his awakened quirk and one foral given by All Might, he won the title of #1 hero in battles with enemies. But dreams are still dreams. Izuku pulled the corner of his mouth. How could I get the title of #1 so easily? And Xiao Sheng would definitely laugh at his dreams. It's not the first time he has done so. SHH, no matter what, the return gift still needs to continue. Mobile Pegasus, let's go. Izuku carried the suitcase, put on the mask and cloak and walked out of the door. Okay, Jonah. Mobile Pegasus followed Izuku and closed the door. At the same time, Todoroki was standing at the elevator door waiting for the elevator. He saw two people in strange clothes coming over to wait for the elevator with him. Todoroki frowned. These two people didn't look like good people. Should we follow them to see what they were going to do? I didn't expect it to be Todoroki. Now we must not panic. We must not panic. Izuku licked his lips to calm himself down. The three of them walked into the elevator together. Ding dong. The elevator door opened. Izuku unexpectedly found that he didn't sweat much. Maybe it was a psychological effect. Walking out of the elevator quickly, Izuku walked towards his destination, the magical bar. According to the prompt on the phone, the bar is in the suburbs 2 kilometers away. There are few surveillance cameras there, and it is not a major traffic route. It is indeed the best place for the enemy to hide. Izuku said in a low voice while walking. Not far behind him, Todoroki was constantly following these two strange guys. As he walked, Todoroki used his newly learned blind typing skills to type blindly on his phone in his trouser pocket. Todoroki Shoto, I just came out of the hotel and saw two strange guys. I am following them now. Todoroki Shoto, I will send a location when they arrive. You can come whenever you want. Ida Tinya, Todoroki-san. You can't just follow them like this. What if he gets knocked unconscious and drinks some strange potion? Bakugo Katsuki, wouldn't it be better if that guy was killed? Yin Yang face should die. Yamura Momo, Todoroki-san, where are you now? Kamimura Denki, what the hell? How dare someone commit a crime in a city like Kamimura that is already surrounded by professional heroes? Miro Hibiki, Kamimura, you idiot, Todoroki-san just said there were two strange people, he didn't say they must be enemies. Kirishima Eijiro, you guys went really fast. I thought you were just talking. Mineta Minoru, you guys are really fast. I also want to go to Kamimura. I heard that there are a lot of books sold at the comic exhibition there. Mineta Minoru, class leader, I was wrong. Ida Tinya, it's too late. Mineta Minoru was silenced for 30 minutes by the administrator Tinya Ida. Mineta Minoru number 2, fortunately, I have made preparations. I also heard that the comic exhibition there once sold a book about my wife, and the sales were very good. It was written about our Class 1A Captain Ida, if you can buy me a copy, I will not be a demon for a day. How about that? Tinya Ida. I can consider it. Kamiming Denki, Captain, then help me buy a copy, and I will pay you when the time comes. Kiro Hibiki, a book about our Class 1A? It can't be a pornographic book, right? Mineta Minoru number 2, I guarantee it with my own grades. Absolutely not. If it is really a small yellow book, then my grades will drop by 5 points, and I will take care of all the hygiene after school starts. Kaminari Denki, I took the screenshot, the bet is established. Ida, go to that comic exhibition and buy the book now. 8,000,000, by the way, when did we start Crooked Buildings? Erlang Xiang, it seems to be from when Mineta Minoru appeared. Mio Wabuki, so all the sins are attributed to Mineta Minoru. Qingshan Elegance, I am still so shining today. Chang'an Taiyin, darkness. I won't talk about it today. Boom Jiaodong, position yourself. Hong Jiaodong, now those two strange guys are sitting on the roof of a building. What should I do now? Bakugo Katsuki, just beat them to death. Tinya Ida, Bakugo-san, you can't be so irritable. Todoroki-san, you are on the roof of this building right now, right? Can you see the phone now? Hong Jiaodong, yes, I am now at the door next to the rooftop, watching them. The two of them are sitting on the edge of the roof. Ida Tinya, I will rush over immediately. You must not alert them. Todoroki Jiaodong, I understand. Bakugo Katsuki, it's so annoying, I want to go too. 8,000,000, as a reserve hero, we can't just sit idly by and ignore things like this. Ashido and I set out immediately. Hong Jiaodong, thank you. Hong Jiaodong put away his cell phone and stared at the two people sitting on the rooftop, or one person and one motorcycle. Izuku's red shoes swayed back and forth under the edge. Such a high height reminded him of a mission he completed on a plane. He reached out to cover his ears, and the face under the mask opened his mouth. This action made Todoroki Jiaodong become completely nervous. Ah, boom! Izuku imitated the sound of the 166 caliber cannon fired during that mission. What are you doing? The Pegasus looked at Izuku. What strange thing was Jonah doing? It's nothing, I just remembered something. Izuku put the suitcase on his lap. I have to go back and explain after this mission. Not only do I have to lie to my mother, but I also have to lie to Xiao Sheng. This feels so bad. And Xiao Sheng will definitely find out that I am lying. He will ask me in a very fierce tone why I lied to him, and maybe even beat me. So I'll just stop talking to Xiao Sheng and save him from beating me up again. Suddenly, Izuku stretched out, and the suitcase almost fell downstairs. The mobile Pegasus quickly took action, supporting Izuku's body with one hand, and grabbed the suitcase with the other hand. Ah, sleep well. Don't make strange moves suddenly. Izuku put away his hands and sat there quietly, and the atmosphere suddenly became very quiet. Did you remember that sentence? Ontology? Well, no matter how I think about it, I still get angry when I think about it, like jumping off the rooftop or something. That's right, if he really jumped from the rooftop, Xiao Sheng might go to jail. Maybe not. No matter how you look at it, if I jumped from the rooftop, the police would only say that I committed suicide, and then other people would keep laughing at me, saying that I committed suicide because I had no personality. Haha, maybe after a long time, there will be a legend about a person without personality jumping off a building to his death in that school. Well, it's a pity that we didn't jump off the building. That's it. Okay, it's almost time now and we have to act early. Izuku took out an SCR spray painted blue from the suitcase. The original black spray paint had been painted off by Izuku, and the blue paint it was the fastest drying paint Izuku could find at home. This guy has weapons on his hands. He is definitely not a good person. Ice floating appeared in Hong Jiaodong's right hand, and an ice pick was held in Hong Jiaodong's hand, ready to take action at any time. Come on, let's return the gift. Okay, Jonah. Izuku jumped off the top of the building first, and the Pegasus jumped after him. What? Todoroki rushed over and looked at the place where Izuku and the others jumped. I saw Izuku being carried by the Pegasus and flying towards the bar opposite the building. How can we fix it? Hong Jiaodong frowned and turned around and walked downstairs. Dong dong dong. Izuku always knocked on the door very gently. Please come in. It was Hiwa's voice. Then I'm in. Izuku turned the doorknob. Chapter 96, All for One. Ding-ling. The doorbell sound is quite elegant. Izuku looked at Kurogiri who was standing at the bar and wiping the red wine glass and Shigaraki who was sitting on a chair playing mahjong. Another boring guy is here. Dabi, who was sitting on the sofa, whispered. No, 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 I smell his unique smell, hee, welcome to our place, it turns out that you look good only when you splatter blood. Watari played with a knife in his hand, and walked towards Izuku while laughing. You shouldn't be here. Shigaraki, who was sitting at the bar and playing mahjong, finally remembered Izuku's identity, and he stared at the face wearing an annoying mask. Kurogiri, didn't you tell Mr. Shigaraki? Izuku looked at Kurogiri who was wiping the red wine glass. I told Shigaraki, but he didn't listen. Kurogiri sighed helplessly. You're here to return the gift, I know, but how can you return it by yourself? Shigaraki took off the hand that had been covering his face. It looked like he had put on lipstick. That's right. How can I return the gift? Izuku smiled under the mask, and suddenly, he threw out 5 grenades with the rings pulled out from his cloak. 3 grenades were quickly diverted by the quick-eyed black mist, and the remaining 2 grenades exploded in mid-air. Boom boom. Do you like this return gift? I have more. 5 more grenades flew over. Boom 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 boom. The whole bar shook violently. He. Don't hide, these are just grenades without fragments, look how scared you are. Izuku raised the SCR and fired at the bar. The enemy alliance in the bar hid behind the chairs or the bar. Even I can find you here, so why can't others? Be smart and run away from here quickly. Ding ding dong dong dong, the sound of bullet shells falling to the ground and the sound of broken bottles blended into an unusual symphony. No wonder the symphony orchestra said that the sound of flying bullets is a symphony, these sounds are really beautiful. The bullets were all used up, and there were few bottles of wine on the bar that were intact. Izuku threw the SCR in his hand directly to Shigaraki, and then turned and left the bar. Shigaraki, don't get caught, we haven't settled the account between the two of us yet, goodbye, Mr. Giant Baby. Izuku walked out the door, and Mobile Pegasus left here with Mobile Pegasus in his arms. How could I repair it? It's a shame that I was returned by that guy in this way. Shigaraki turned the blue SCR into powder. Izuku's decision to leave the bar quickly was right. Within a minute, All Might entered the scene in advance and began to encircle and suppress the enemy alliance. This is my return gift. If Alforoni doesn't show up, then Shigaraki will really be caught this time. Boom boom. Suddenly, a huge explosion sounded in the distance. Izuku bit his lower lip with his teeth. Sure enough, he showed up. Shigaraki's teacher, codename, Alforoni. Just by hearing the sound, you can tell that it is quite powerful. Tisk. Did they move them away? Endeavor, I leave this to you. All Might said this and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, then rushed directly to the place where the roar came from in the distance. He had a definite premonition that his enemy Alforoni was there. Since All Might is gone, we have to go too. Mobile Pegasus, let's go and take a look together. No problem, Jonah. Izuku and Mobile Pegasus ran on the roof, and soon they came to the center of the battlefield, a ruin left after a battle, and several professional heroes fell in the ruins covered in dust, their life and death unknown. As expected of Alforoni, he defeated them with just one punch. The number 4 hero, Shiobaku Oo, was still struggling to give Alforoni the most powerful blow. Your attack method is very novel, but it is not suitable for Shigaraki, so please rest in peace. A fierce attack directly hit Shiobaku Oo's abdomen. Ugh! Shiobaku Oo fainted. Ahem! Just as Shiobaku Oo fainted, many balls of black liquid suddenly appeared beside Alforoni, and the people from the enemy alliance emerged from the black liquid. Teacher! As soon as Shigaraki fell to the ground, he saw his mentor, his adoptive father Alforoni, standing in front of him, just like he did back then. Shigaraki, don't stop thinking, you still have a lot of room for improvement, leave now. But, Kuroki has fainted, how can we leave? Alforoni didn't say much nonsense, one hand stretched out, 5 black strips flew out of his hand and hit Kuroki lying on the ground. Quirk forced activation. Kurogiri suddenly used his own quirk and a huge black portal appeared. Teacher! Shigaraki looked at his mentor. Remember, Shigaraki, don't stop fighting, don't stop thinking. Just as Alforoni finished speaking, a red figure rushed over. You have indeed become weaker. One forel I teleport my disciples here, but it actually took you 20 seconds to catch up. Alforoni said this, raising his hands to resist the attack from All Might. A blow. This time I must bring you to justice. Alforoni. All Might's eyes revealed determination. Then let's give it a try, All Might. Teacher. The deadwood entered the portal under the drag of the magician. Remember, Shigajai, don't stop thinking. Don't stop fighting. As soon as Alforoni finished speaking, he was punched by All Might. Teacher. When Shinigaki entered the portal, he saw Izuku standing on a tall building in the distance, and Izuku waved to him. You dare to be distracted during the battle? You really care about your disciples. Isn't it the same for you? All Might. Moreover, your heroes have a more fatal weakness. Alforoni raised his fist and punched All Might. All Might raised his hands to block it. With this punch, the fierce punch was divided into 2 parts and rushed behind him. That's what you heroes want to protect. Alforoni smiled and looked at the 2 fist winds flying towards the residential area behind All Might. Of course, these fist winds couldn't defeat All Might, but he can destroy the residential areas behind him and collect some interest. I swear to fight for the defenseless. A voice suddenly appeared in front of the 2 fists. Kick wind blade. Double knife. The blades formed by 2 green electric arcs directly offset the 2 fierce fist winds. Tisk. There are actually heroes who blocked it. Alforoni tut. What he hates most is someone ruining his plan. Shut up. All Might directly grabbed Alforoni's left hand. Oops. You will play with others like this. Rob. Destroy. Seize the opportunity to dominate others. You only know how to arrogantly laugh at ordinary people who are running for life. I am against these. All Might raised his left fist and punched. The punch hit the mask worn by Alforoni, shattering the mask directly, and the punch hit Alforoni's face directly. Unforgivable. Boom. Another big hole was made in the earth. Ho ho, this punch is very powerful. Alforoni, who fell in the pit, laughed. But how long can you last? You are at the place of Nanashimura, the successor of the previous generation 1 Foral. Don't use your dirty mouth. Say Master's name. All Might was trembling all over. Master was like a family member to him, but he just let the guy in front of him kill him. We must defeat him. Let him atone for his master's sins. That woman only has a high ideal, but no strength at all. As the reborn parent of 1 Foil, I feel ashamed of her. Also, even I can't bear to look at her death. Shit, where should I start? Alforoni was teasing All Might, standing in front of him while receiving the fist on his head. Shut up. All Might raised his left fist again, but this time Alforoni did not let him succeed. He suddenly used his own personality to lift All Might into the sky. Helicopter in the live broadcast, the plane was at the same altitude as him. Hateful. Toshinori. Suddenly, Gran Trino appeared next to All Might. He stopped All Might, who was about to fly down and punch Alforoni hard in the face. Toshinori is just irritating you. Just like he did 6 years ago. Calm down. All Might and Gran Trino fell to the ground. I know, Gran Trino, I know he's irritating me, but I just... Ahem, don't get in the way. Alforoni climbed up from the pit, looking trembling. Compared with last time, his tactics and personality are different. It is difficult to attack effectively from the front. You must seize the opportunity while he is not paying attention. Can you still act? Go beyond the limit. Now is the key. Yes. All Might nodded. He still had half of his strength left. He must be captured this time. At this moment, thousands of media outlets were broadcasting the battle live, and even they did not expect that there would be an enemy that could fight All Might inextricably, and that the enemy would still have the upper hand. Everything is said on the internet. All Might was beaten to pieces. Kamino, where is that? Wow. It's so badly damaged. I may not have to go to work tomorrow. What are the other heroes doing? Enemies appear too often. The heroes are so lazy. Just kidding, but I do feel a little lax. But in the end, All Might will defeat the enemy. Do you feel it? Alforoni raised his hands. The constant efforts of Shivengmu have gradually crumbled the citizens' trust in heroes. Let me finish this last blow. Alforoni said slowly, like a gentleman. But, All Might, just like you hate me, I hate you too. Although I killed your teacher, you also destroyed everything of mine, so... Alforoni slowly took off the mask on his face. I want you to die miserably. Alforoni's left hand kept spinning, just like the previous punch. This was also a very powerful punch. Dodge, then counterattack. Gran Torino said, jumping away from All Might. Can you dodge? All Might heard the movement in the ruins behind him, and there were still people in the ruins. Damn it! All Might cheered up and raised his fist. Although he still had half of his strength, that half of his strength would be used up quickly, but in order to defeat Alforoni, to avenge his master, and for the citizens behind him. Even if it costs his life. This guy must be arrested. I'm going to take away what you've been protecting. Alforoni threw a straight punch at All Might, and the air was filled with smoke. I'm going to take away your dignity. The first step is to expose the way you still hold on after being injured. Alforoni was confident that All Might would definitely block this punch. His dignity, All Might's dignity, is my dignity. What do you want to do to him? The smoke dissipated, and a guy wearing a cloak and a mask stood in front of All Might. It was him who blocked the fatal blow, and there was a black robot standing next to him. Who are you? Not only Alforoni was confused, but even All Might was confused. All Might, you are a good hero, but not a good teacher. I want to learn from you for a few more years. The mask was taken off, and silver hair and red eyes appeared in All Might's eyes. SHH, next, it's my time. Izuku said this almost with his back teeth bitten. Chapter 97, In Battle. Several helicopters were hovering above the battlefield, and desperate media people were standing on the edge of the helicopters to broadcast this rare scene. What we are seeing now is the main battlefield of Shanai. A quarter of Shanai has been reduced to ruins. Now standing in front of All Might are not only enemies but also two people whose identities are unknown. Now. The time is 3 o'clock in the morning. We are bringing you a live broadcast. Now a quarter of the area in Chennai city has been reduced to ruins. Countless people are watching, they clench their hands, eagerly hoping that the person they support can win. Come on! All Might! All Might, come on! Bakugo Katsuki, who was standing under the big screen watching the entire live broadcast, couldn't help sweating in his palms. He was also cheering for All Might. Izuku stared at Alforoni with red eyes. At 12 o'clock in the morning, he drank the red potion that represents danger and opportunity. It really hurts. Doesn't it only affect the flesh? It feels like my soul is being roasted on fire. Izuku couldn't even open his mouth to speak now. He could only open his mouth and exhale white air. An old-fashioned flip phone suddenly appeared in his right hand, and a silver belt suddenly appeared on his waist. An unknown wind blew up Izuku's cloak. All Might stood there and saw the familiar belt. You shouldn't come here. All Might looked at the boy in front of him. He already knew his identity. I shouldn't come here, but, Mr. All Might, didn't you say that I can become a hero because my body has already acted before thinking? Izuku opened the flip phone with one finger. No matter what, protect other people's lives. Protect other people's dreams. That's a hero. 555 standing by. Hangs in. Red photon blood vessels appeared on Izuku's body, giving this grey and white ruin a little blood-red brilliance. The sun god metal quickly covered Izuku's body, and Izuku grew from a 166 cm short man to a 180 cm tall man. Now, the battle officially begins. Fuddies walked towards Alforoni step by step. Alforoni smiled. Although he couldn't see, he could sense the power that was not weaker than All Might. Then let me test how much weight you have. Alforoni raised his left hand and hit Fiaz with another powerful straight punch. Bang! The smoke and dust flew again, and Fuddies took the attack hard. He now wanted to exchange pain for pain and let the drug effect pass as soon as possible. Yo, this punch is much more powerful than before, keep going. Fuddies walked towards Alforoni step by step. Boom boom boom. After 3 consecutive powerful straight punches, Alforoni smiled. He used all his strength in these 3 punches, so you should at least show some expression. Ahem, these 3 punches are powerful enough. Fuddies patted the dust on his right shoulder with his left hand, and this action was also captured by the camera in the sky. The pain is offset, so. Fuddies took out a camera from the small box on the left side of his belt, and then inserted the energy chip on the belt into the slot of the camera. Ready, the camera transformed into a boxing glove, and Fuddies put the boxing glove on his right hand. Let's punch first. Fuddies turned on the mobile phone on his belt and pressed the energy charging button. Exceed charge energy charging. The energy was transmitted to the boxing glove along the photon blood vessels. Ha! The same sharp fist wind rushed towards Alforoni. Roar, are you finally willing to take action? Alforoni raised his left hand and easily blocked this wave of attacks. Tau Savenane 3 light attacks rushed towards Alforoni following the smoke. Swoosh, swoosh, ding, ding. From the sound, it seems that nothing happened. Fuddies put the phone back into his belt. Mobile Pegasus. Fuddies raised his right hand and snapped his fingers twice, and Mobile Pegasus immediately flew towards Fuddies. Kara, one of the handlebars of Mobile Pegasus motorcycle was removed, and the energy chip was inserted, and a red lightsaber appeared in Fuddies' hand. Protect All Might and other citizens, rescue all the injured, and transfer them to a safe area. Yes, I know, Jonah. Then Alforoni, let's officially enter the battle. Fuddies held the lightsaber in his backhand and rushed towards Alforoni. Haha, let's try it. The two began to fight while constantly bombarding each other. I didn't expect to see someone like All Might here, I'm very happy. You will all become Shigeriki's nourishment. Alforoni punched the lightsaber in Fuddies' hand away, but fortunately the energy chip on the lightsaber had been recovered. Who will become that guy's food? Shigeriki? He should also go to prison and reflect. Fuddies punched Alforoni in the stomach. He will surpass you, he will inherit my wish. Just like that Midoriya Izuku, he will become your nightmare. Alforoni also raised his fist and punched Fuddies' helmet, and a crack appeared on the helmet. Roar, so the face is a weakness. Damn it, Fuddies dodged another straight punch from Alforoni, and an uppercut hit Alforoni's chin directly. The two separated slightly, and then swung their fists at each other and punched each other hard, so fast that even the camera couldn't catch up with their speed. Bang! Alforoni punched Fuzzy's helmet again, and Fuzzy's helmet cracked in half, and the fragments fell to the ground, revealing the red eye. I saw it. I saw your eyes. Ha ha ha. As expected, as expected. You are the same annoying hero as All Might. Sorry, I'm a knight. Fuzzy whispered, and punched Alforoni on the shoulder. I swear to bravely fight against violence. Fuzzy also punched Alforoni in the face. I swear to fight against all mistakes. I swear to fight for the people. I swear to fight for the unarmed. I swear to treat the weak well. I swear to help anyone who asks me for help. I swear not to hurt any woman. I swear to help my brother. I swear to treat my friends sincerely. This is the oath of Kamen Rider. Every oath was accompanied by a heavy blow, and Alforoni was knocked to the ground, raising a large cloud of dust. Protecting the lives and dreams of others, that's a knight. Fuzzy's helmet was completely damaged, revealing his short silver hair and red eyes. The helmet broke so quickly, I hope it can be repaired. Izuku touched his face, fortunately the human skin mask was not broken. My whole body hurts, but it's just flesh wounds, and it doesn't feel that bad anymore. Izuku turned his wrist and walked towards the pit where Alforoni fell. Alforoni, you have committed multiple crimes such as hero and civil law, and you will be arrested according to the law. Just as Izuku squatted down and tried to control Alforoni, a giant hand hit Izuku's abdomen directly, knocking Izuku away. Puff! Izuku didn't expect Alforoni to do this, and spit out a mouthful of blood. Boom! He crashed directly into the ruins behind All Might. Ahem, I didn't expect this move to be used on a nobody. Alforoni stood up from the ground, and his right hand was transformed directly, and several big hands merged into a giant hand, and it was this giant hand that punched Izuku away. Hey, are you okay? All Might turned his head to look at his disciple. Izuku was half lying there, his eyes rolled back, and he was obviously unconscious. I hate you. All Might looked at Alforoni who was standing there twisting his neck, and his eyes were almost burning with fire. No matter, you are all going to die anyway, isn't it good to die together? Let me draw the last chapter of your life for you. Alforoni suddenly jumped into the air. I hate you. All Might half crouched on the ground and raised his fists, ready to take this blow hard. Even if he used all his strength, he had to save Izuku. He is the new hope. He must not die here. Suddenly, All Might's shoulder was tapped, and All Might turned his head involuntarily. How is it possible? All Might shrunk his eyes. Chapter 98, The battle is over. Behind All Might stood a thin figure. If All Might remembered correctly, this figure was Izuku in junior high school uniform before entering school, except that his hair was a little darker, he had a black band tied around his eyes, and his shoes were black. All Might, the main body said that he would deal with this guy, you don't have to intervene. Even the voice was the same childish and crisp, but with a chill. Who are you? All Might's voice was trembling. Who am I? This is not important. What's important is that I heard the cry of an angel. Izuku in junior high school uniform raised his head and looked at Alforoni who was still in the sky. It's you, the guy who dared to make an angel cry. Are you ready to fall into hell? Izuku in junior high school uniform took off the band on his face. All Might could see clearly that blood was flowing on Izuku's face and his eyes were blood red. Feel the resentment of the past 10 years. The giant shadow hand. Red-eyed Izuku stomped the floor, and All Might found that the shadow behind him suddenly disappeared, not only his own shadow, but also all the shadows nearby. This person is definitely not Midoriya. Just when All Might was confused, a huge black hand suddenly appeared from behind red-eyed Izuku and grabbed Alforoni. Another tough guy? But it doesn't matter, let's die together. Alforoni waved his huge right hand and slammed into the huge black hand. You're trapped. Red-eyed Izuku smiled, and the huge black hand grabbed the fierce Alforoni. Quiz, elasticity, quiz, cement, red-eyed Izuku said while controlling the black hand, and the black hand gathered into a big black ball, wrapped Alforoni and suspended in the air. Next. Red-eyed Izuku glanced at Izuku who was still unconscious and sighed. I have to hold on until my real body wakes up. Red-eyed Izuku closed his eyes tightly, and streams of black shadows flowed out of his body, gathering into black whirlpools around him. Boom! The black ball suspended in the air was pierced, and Alforoni rushed towards the three people on the ground. You have already spent all my patience, all of you die. Mountain Lady personality, get bigger. Suddenly, a black female giant appeared and blocked Alforoni's punch, and then the female giant's body turned into pieces. Jungle God of War personality, Forest. A person who was almost the same as the professional hero Jungle God of War suddenly appeared. He stretched out his hands, and countless tree branches stopped Alforoni. Damn, there is no momentum. Alforoni dodged the branches and fell to the ground again. Number 13 Quiz, Black Hole. A guy in a white spacesuit suddenly emerged from the black vortex next to Red-Eye Izuku, and the huge suction pulled Alforoni towards Red-Eye Izuku. Cement Tsukasa Quiz, Cement. Just as number 13 attracted Alforoni, the figure of Cement Tsukasa emerged from the black vortex next to Red-Eye Izuku. As soon as Cement Tsukasa appeared, he immediately squatted down and touched the ground with both hands. A stream of strong cement nailed Alforoni there. Could it be that this guy's quiz is to control shadows and then create characters using their quiz? All Might looked at the little boy who looked almost exactly like Midoriya with a vigilant face. Is he controlled like this? Red-Eye Izuku said this, turning around and walking towards Izuku who fainted on the ruins. Do you know what I heard? Alforoni. What I heard was the cry of an angel. Alforoni, do you know what happens when an angel cries? Red-eyed Izuku turned and walked towards the unconscious Izuku. When the angel cries, it's time for the devil to descend. Red-eyed Izuku merged into Izuku's body, and Faiz stood up again. Faiz took off the flashlight on the right side of his belt with an indifferent look on his face and installed an energy chip on it. Ready, the flashlight was installed on the ankle of his right foot. Exceed charge, energy charge. This move is the last ray of light you see before you go to prison. Faiz jumped up with his feet together, drawing a beautiful red circle in the air. On the ground, except for number 13 and Cement Si, all the remaining black vortices gathered on Faiz's body. Crimson, black, drill. The flashlight shot a red beam of light at Alforoni, which was nailed there. Faiz kicked Alforoni. Come on. Alforoni raised his giant fist and hit Faiz. Boom boom boom. The finale of this chapter started with a big explosion. The smoke and strong wind made it impossible for everyone to open their eyes. Even All Might had to use his hands to block his face. The power is so huge. All Might put his hands in front of himself, his eyes fixed on the place where the explosion occurred. Go to prison. Boom boom. Another violent explosion, accompanied by a series of sounds of shoes rubbing against the ground. Izuku shook his head, looked at the person standing next to him, and smiled in an ambiguous way. I thought I had awakened my quiz. It's just a split personality. Now I have quiz. I am still you. You have never left since you appeared that year. I will not betray or disappear, I will be behind you. Izuku hugged Red Eyes Izuku. You are an angel, then I am a devil. When an angel cries, it is the time for the devil to be released. I am your shadow, and I don't need a name. Red Eyes Izuku said, and then turned into a black dot and melted into Izuku's eyebrows. Ah, it is still the most comfortable to sleep here. Welcome back. Izuku pinched his brows, and Mobile Pegasus flew over from a distance. The rescue work has been completed, Jonah. Mobile Pegasus stood beside Izuku. Then we should leave too. Izuku stretched lazily. Today is really a great harvest. Not only did we kill the enemy, but we also awakened the quirks and no one died. Congratulations, congratulations. Izuku said, and then fell forward. Mobile Pegasus immediately supported him. Then came the sunrise of the next day. It was already 6:30 in the morning. Have you been fighting all day? No wonder I feel sleepy. Now I really want to lie on the comfortable big bed and sleep. What time is it now? My phone is broken again. Midoriya boy. All Might shouted in a low voice. It's over, it's All Might. Mobile Pegasus, let's go, we can't let All Might see us now. When Izuku was about to stand up and run away, the armor he was wearing was grabbed by All Might, and then the armor turned into powder. The mobile phone and belt returned to Izuku's hands and waist, waiting for the next battle. Midoriya boy. Well done. All Might hugged Izuku, who was exhausted, directly. Allah, my whole body is so soft, I can't move. It's because All Might hugged me. Izuku raised his hand with difficulty and patted All Might's shoulder. All Might, this is what I should do, not only as a hero, but also as a knight, what I should do. After Izuku finished speaking, he fainted and both personalities fainted at the same time. Thank you for your hard work. Have a good sleep. Chapter 99, Dreams and Return. In the dream, Izuku returned to the battlefield he least wanted to recall. At that time, he was hiding behind a car, protecting Coco. R, who was in the same group with him, was opposite, also behind a car. Ding 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 ding, boom boom boom. The sound of bullet shells falling on the ground and the sound of explosions came one after another. Izuku saw R squatting opposite and saying something to him. Protect. Protect Coco and yourself. Keep your original intention and don't be polluted, boom boom. R's words had not been finished yet, and another car exploded. Izuku clenched the gun in his hand, and R was adjusting his sniper rifle. There was only one chance. Izuku struggled and wanted to run towards R, but no matter how he moved, he was still squatting in the same place, unable to move. R made a move. He stood up from the back of the car, rushed to the street, and faced his opponent. There was only the opponent in the sniper scope, and one shot was enough. Bang! The sound of the firing pin hitting the shell was particularly harsh in Izuku's ears, and both sides made a move. Ding dong! The shell fell to the ground, announcing the birth of the winner. R lost. In a sniper battle, a failure is equal to death, not to mention that the distance between the two sides this time is only a few dozen meters. At that time, Izuku rushed to the street like an arrow from a string, firing wildly at the opponent, and Coco squatted beside R. Bang! Another sniper rifle shot, and Izuku fainted again. It was the first time he was injured in the battle. He almost injured the lung lobe. The feeling of the bullet hitting the body was really painful. Cough cough cough. Izuku coughed and opened his eyes. In front of him was a more familiar ceiling. It was not a health room, but a hotel room he had booked for 4 days. Where is All Might? I'm here. Izuku turned his head and looked. All Might, who had become his usual appearance, was sitting next to him. Mobile Pegasus also turned into a motorcycle and was charging there. The mask and hood were hung on the handlebars, and the door was closed. Midoriya, you did a great job this time. All Might was not stingy with his praise. He deserved the award, but once he was praised, it meant that Izuku Midoriya had to show up, and his identity as a student of UE would be exposed, so this time Izuku had to be an unknown hero. Well, I didn't think so much at the time. Izuku stretched out his hand to scratch his stomach, but found that his stomach was wrapped in bandages. Did the black-hearted doctor take my kidney? What are you thinking about? You just have an abdominal injury. The treatment girl is not here, so I can only apply ointment to you. The doctor said that your injury is not serious, and you only need to rest for a day or two. That's great, but I can't rest for another day or two. My mother is still waiting for me to go back. Izuku said, and sat up from the bed. All Might, let's take the train back together. Izuku smiled again. Okay. All Might paid for the train back home, and bought 3 tickets. All Might was special. When he became a hero fighting crime, he naturally made a lot of money. The copyright fees of the figures alone could buy a train. Izuku looked at the scenery outside and touched his stomach. The bandage was still tied. How could he explain this to his mother? Izuku turned his head and looked at All Might, who was writing a document. He also had a helpless look on his face. He was not very good at writing documents. All Might, what are you going to do after this incident? I don't know either. It all depends on what the principal says. All Might rubbed his hair and pressed the last button on the keyboard to save the document. Then he leaned back in his chair and let out a long sigh. He finally finished writing. He didn't expect that writing documents would be so tiring. Beep beep beep. Izuku's newly bought mobile phone rang. Thinking of the mobile phone, Izuku remembered his 3 broken mobile phones. Tears welled up in his heart. Each mobile phone cost a lot of money. Izuku turned on his mobile phone, and the classmates in the group chat were chatting enthusiastically. This made Izuku a little itchy. He opened the classmate group. Everyone was chatting high. Izuku decided to sneak in and see what others were doing. Ida Tinya, this battle, All Might is so handsome. Ashido Mina, it's really so handsome. Now I think back and I'm still super excited. Kirishima Eijiro, super manly. Aoyama Yuga, powerful and elegant. Chang'an Taiyin, I admire him. Bakugo Katsuki, I will definitely surpass him and become the #1 hero. Shojime Zhang, All Might is really powerful. Kamimura Denki, he is super powerful. When All Might won, the whole neighborhood was boiling over. Bakugo Katsuki, Nishiyuki. Frog blow, Bakugo was excited and shouted, but then again, what about Midoriya? Every time the class discusses All Might, he is always the first to jump out and say something. Izuku Midoriya, I was just watching a video on the internet, All Might is super handsome. Izuku Midoriya, All Might is awesome. Frog blow, I can feel the admiration in Midoriya's tone, but All Might is really super awesome. Todoroki Shoto, does Midoriya like All Might? Izuku Midoriya, nodding like crazy.jpg. Midoriya Izuku, who doesn't like All Might? He's the #1 hero. My idol. Todoroki Shoto, then I will become the #1 hero. Bakugo Katsuki, yin yang face. Only I can become the #1 hero. Watch out for me. Midoriya Izuku, Kaken and Todoroki-kun stop arguing. Kamimura Denki, I always feel like Bakugo and Todoroki-kun are talking about something else. Mineta Minoru, this kind of thing is known only to heaven, earth, you and me. Whoever dares to leak it out will be bald for life. Do you understand? Kamimura Denki, covering his mouth and grinning.jpg. Mineta Minoru, by the way, our class monitor, did you buy the notebook back? Ida Tinya, I've read the notebook, it's very good. It not only writes about some trivial things in our class, but also provides us with another way of thinking about fighting. I decided to pay for it out of my own pocket this time and buy one for everyone in the class. Kamimura Denki, as expected of the class leader. Mineta Minoru, class leader, you're really useful. Ashido Sana, class leader, you're really useful. Shiro Norita, class leader, you're really useful. Hagakure Toru, class leader, you're really useful. Oshiro Sarafu, are you repeaters? Kirairo Hibiki, Ida, is the book you bought the one by the lady who's been very popular on the internet recently? Yamamoku, which lady? Kirairo Hibiki, the lady with all English names. Ida, you must have bought the book It's Hard to Survive in Class 1A by that lady. Ida Tinya, nods and praise.jpg. Ida Tinya, Kirairo, you're right. Yurika Okako, ah. Kirairo, you blew me away. I love that book so much, but it's a pity that the lady stopped updating for a month, and I was so upset. Izuku looked at the topic in the group that was gradually going off topic, and pulled the corner of his mouth. Probably, perhaps, it seemed that the ID he had created on the website was a long string of English. Izuku opened the writing software on his phone, carefully checked the title of his work, and then he immediately covered the phone. Oh, people in the class are actually discussing what I wrote. Wait. That's not right. I don't seem to have authorized the sale of novels. I authorized it. Those who sell books said that there will be a 25% rebate for every book sold. Am I poor? Okay, I am poor. Izuku lowered his head and confirmed the fact that he was still a poor bastard. There was no money in his small treasury and cards. Now he relied on the last bit of stock in his wallet. But since everyone likes my work so much, I can't pretend to be dead anymore. I have to fake my death. Izuku thought so and turned the phone back. Suddenly, Izuku felt a pressure on his shoulder. He turned around and saw All Might sleeping on his shoulder, with his mouth wide open and drooling. He was not strong and serious like a hero at all. All Might's sleeping posture is terrible. Izuku wanted to laugh. Well, he is actually an uncle at this time. A skull-faced uncle, hee. Chapter 100, on the train. Boom. There was blood, and my chest hurt. Defibrillator. Hurry. A bright white shadowless light. Ventilator. Ventilator. Heavy breathing. Tweezers, how's your blood pressure? Sometimes blood splashes on the face. Kang. The sound of bullets hitting the plate. He was so lucky. The bullet only hit the bone in the chest, which was just a fracture. The doctor's voice was accompanied by tinnitus. Start stitching, don't let that $20,000 go to waste. Tisk, Tisk, I didn't expect this child to be worth 20,000. He's obviously just a young soldier. Shut up, we are doing a private job, if the dean hears it. Click. The sound of scissors cutting sutures. Bah. The door of the operating room opened. How is Jonah? He had long white hair, blue pupils, red blood on the tip of his nose, and an anxious look on his face, completely no longer as calm as before. It's ruining your image, cow cow. Izuku opened his eyes. He was still sitting on the high-speed train, holding his chin with one hand. All Might was still leaning on his shoulder, continuing to fall asleep. He had not yet sent the corpse scam article. By 10 minutes, it was less than 5 minutes before he closed his eyes and fell asleep. Haha, I can't sleep. Izuku sighed inwardly. That is to say, I can't sleep at all. When I turned on my phone again, the class group exploded again. Erlang Xiang Xiang, my wife is indeed an angel. Ending the retreat early, I'm so excited for the new chapter. Eureka Okako, that's right. The whole class has been written down in detail. 8 million by, it feels like you are in the same class as us. I am a fan of this lady. Bakugo Katsuki, damn, why do you feel like this guy is writing about me as if he's writing a villain? Todoroki Jiaodong, you look like a villain to begin with. Bakugo Katsuki, yin yang face, what the hell are you talking about? Do you want to fucking die? Kaminari Electric, well. Everyone, do you think this scene is a bit familiar? 8 million hundred, yet. This kind of scene appears many times in the novel. Every time it appears, it's a fight scene worth learning from. Ashido Sana, I'll eat blast. Tinya Ida, what to eat? Ashido Sana, CP, the CP of that book is now super popular. 8 million hundred, then I will stand and explode. Two violent men have highlights. Ashido Sana, hey. Why would you stand on the opposite side, Bibai? Come back soon. Erlang Xiang Xiang, I'm standing there. The two cold-tempered ones are also super delicious. Ashido Sana, hey. The three major forces are up. Miyabashui, is it really okay for us to talk about this topic in the class group so openly? 8 million hundred, then let's start a small group for us girls to chat. Kaminari Electric, why do you feel that girls' perspectives are different from our boys' perspectives? Erlang Xiang Xiang, how do you, an idiot, know this? Get out of here. Mineta Minoru, I know what you girls are talking about, let me add one. 8 million hundred, you, show some sincerity first. Mineta Minoru, well. I can contact this wife, what do you think? Shangming Electric, who believes it, just you? Can you invite that wife to our group? Mineta Minoru, wait for me for 5 minutes. Izuku felt like he was being tricked by Mineta Minoru. When Mineta Minoru went offline, his writing software kept beating. It must be Mineta Minoru that cheater. Don't say that to him, he doesn't know my true identity. When Izuku opened the software, one of his fans kept sending private messages. Grape juice, is your wife here? Grape juice, madam. Please show up quickly. Grape juice rewarded 10 Beijing beans. Hey, this guy has a lot of money. A golden bean costs 500 yuan. We have to return these 10 jingdu to him when the time comes. No, your mind is not broken, right? Why should you give it back to him? He just used these 10 golden beans to get me out, forget it, let's put on a show. Izuku raised the corners of his mouth and started typing with his right hand. Jonah Green, what's wrong? I'm super sleepy now. Ontology. You steal my lines. Grape juice, madam, let me tell you a big secret. I am actually a student of Heroic Class 1A. Jonah Green, I know, it's the guy with the grapes on his head. Grape juice, why do you know, madam? Jonah Green, because I saw you at the Heroes Festival. You are cheap and perverted. You are willing to work hard when you should work hard. It can be regarded as a plot trigger. Grape juice, wow. Am I just a prop in the eyes of my wife? I'm so sad to say. Jonah Green, because in my setting, you are such a guy. Grape juice, I don't care. You broke my heart. I want you to compensate. Jonah Green, Maybe we can add another setting, shameless. Well, then what compensation do you want from me? Will there be 10 updates? Grape juice, I just want my wife to join my class group. Grape juice, group link. Izuku narrowed his eyes. He used another phone card to register the ID for writing articles. It shouldn't be discovered by others. Izuku clicked the link. Jonah Green was invited to join the group by Mineta Minoru. Kamimura Denki, damn. The big guy has joined the group. Mineta, you can do it. Mineta Minoru, I am much more reliable than a certain idiot, okay? Erlang Hibiki, you two guys shut up. Madam. Your novel is really good. I have always liked you so much. Midoriya Izuku blushed, and he quickly told himself in his heart. She likes novels, not real people, she likes novels, not real people, she likes novels, not real people, important things should be said 3 times. Yamoroba, wow, the madam actually joined our group. Applause welcome. Ashido Mina, applause welcome. Todoroki Shoto, welcome. Jonah Green, thank you for inviting me to join the group. Now, before my adrenaline goes down, ask any questions quickly. Ashido Mina, me. I want to ask how the plot will develop next. Jonah Green, I can't answer this question, it will spoil the whole family crematorium, you know? Yamura, then I want to know how you can come up with so many fighting techniques. Jonah Green, it depends on intelligence and imagination. Yurika Okako, then, madam, which CP do you like? Jonah Green, if you ask me, I like Boom Boom, because no matter what, their performance is too eye-catching, super exciting. Jonah Green, oh, the train I'm on has arrived, so I won't talk about it for now. Ashido Mina, I'm curious about what train madam took, and our train has also arrived. Ida Tinya, then everyone will gather at the school gate at 3 p.m., and I will give everyone the book. Izuku immediately switched accounts. Midoriya Izuku, I'm a little curious about what you were talking about before, it seems that there are a lot of things to learn. Ida Tinya, I took a quick look at this book, and there are really a lot of things to learn, and there are a lot of tricks we didn't expect. Izuku Midoriya, thank you first, Ida-kun. It's 3 p.m., right? I'll definitely go. Ashido Sana, then Izuku, you must finish reading it, and then tell us which CP you like. I already have my wife to help, so I'm not afraid of other cults. Izuku Midoriya, CP? Oh, that one, I'll pay attention to it. Yamoroku, cult? Humph. I'll definitely let my wife stand and blow my mind. Izuku Midoriya turned off his phone and shook All Might, who was still leaning on his shoulder. All Might, we're at the station. Izuku said in a low voice. Izuwa, let me sleep a little longer. Wow. Found it, oh you Xiang CP. Teacher. We're at the station. In order to make All Might get up quickly, Izuku had to shout loudly into All Might's ear. All Might opened his eyes quickly, almost going back into hero mode. Hey, Midoriya, you almost scared me to death. If you hadn't shouted like that, All Might, you wouldn't have woken up. Let's go, the train has arrived. Izuku touched his human skin mask and looked at the ticket in his hand. Well. Okay. All Might rubbed his eyes and stood up. Mobile Pegasus took down their luggage before they stood up. After walking out of the train station, Izuku stretched. I'm back. Then Midoriya, I'll leave first. All Might took his suitcase from Mobile Pegasus and got into the black car parked outside the train station. Bye, All Might. Izuku waved his hand and watched the black car drive away. Then let's go to, Mobile Pegasus, let's go home. Got it, Jonah.